The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. Prime Minister Davis says your choices fuel your cost of living, while acknowledging that prices are still too high, and the government promises more action on the high cost of living. BPL says an upgrade of its grid is imminent, or at least the energy minister is saying so, and more on what she said and didn't say yesterday. And in Morning Blend Business, we are talking about what a Trump return will mean for security in the region. That's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Friday, November 8th, 2024. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Also this morning, we're going to be talking about the Slayer Holiday social media sales event. We'll get details about that in our 8 o'clock hour. That's all ahead this morning. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, after backlash over a comment he made that the cost of living is determined by people's choices, Prime Minister Philip Davis later said he is not seeking to downplay the cost of living, which he acknowledged is too high. Yesterday morning, on the sidelines of the government's energy summit at Bahamar, Davis was asked to respond to that recent University of the Bahamas study that found that middle-class families need a monthly income of about $10,000 to afford what is considered a decent life in Providence and Grand Bahama. Davis acknowledging that he hadn't seen the report and hadn't studied it yet, but said, quote, "One thing when you talk about cost of living is also determined by one's choices, what one chooses to do and what one does not choose to do. And so I understand all of the elements and the factors that were taken into account to determine the researcher's conclusions. I would not wish to comment on it." Well, hours later, while attending a walkabout in Englerston, Davis sought to clarify his comments, which proved controversial throughout the day, saying, quote, "There's no doubt that there's a concern, and I'm concerned about the cost of living. It's something that is brought on by inflation, brought on by the pandemic, which caused a lot of disruption in our supplies. It's not only impacting us, it is impacting most countries. We are not in any way downplaying the cost of living. We are doing what we can to ensure that we defeat it. Now, inflation is leveling out, but what we are recognizing is that it is not reaching the Bahamian people, the consumers. Well, those findings were contained in UB researcher Leslie Archer's paper, How Much Does It Cost to Be Middle Class in the Bahamas? It was published last month in the International Journal of Bahamian Studies. In addition to the findings about the middle class, the study also included updated cost of living estimates for a low-income family of 4. It estimated that taking into account inflation, a working-class family in New Providence would need $5,000 per month, an increase of about 14% over 2020's estimates, and $6,600 per month in Grand Bahama, an increase of about 16% to have a decent life. Well, more on the cost of living following that UB study. The Office of the Prime Minister said yesterday that the government is committed to addressing the stubbornly high cost of living, saying in a statement, quote, "These challenges are not new. They are deeply rooted in long-standing structural issues in our economy that have been building over many years, from limited competition in essential industries to high shipping costs, monopolized sectors, and a housing market affected by high demand and vacation rentals." Prime Minister Davis also saying that he's not concerned about the potential impact on climate change discussions and efforts after Donald Trump was elected President of the United States. Trump is a climate skeptic and has promised to terminate much of the climate change policies put in place under President Joe Biden. Davis saying, quote, "He speaks for his country and I don't blame all this on him." During his first term as president from 2017 to 2021, Trump withdrew the U.S. from the Paris Agreement, a legally binding international climate change treaty. Bahamas Grid Company will soon begin its upgrade of the New Providence power grid, a $100 million venture that aims to transform BPL's infrastructure to make it more reliable. Minister of Energy and Transport JoBeth Colby Davis saying yesterday that crews from Bahamas Grid and Pike Corporation will soon be seen all over New Providence, adding and strengthening transmission lines and substations and protecting neighborhoods against voltage fluctuations. A 28-year-old man remanded to prison on charges of murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and attempted murder. Mitchell Fox of Mandingo Alley is accused of the September 5th murder of Eddie Miller, who was riddled with bullets in front of his wife and children outside his shop on Cowpen Road. Fox is also accused of conspiring to commit the crime. He's further accused of a non-fatal shooting through Ida Street. Fox is accused of the attempted murders of Rodlin Henfield and Sharon Thompson. Fox was not required to enter pleas to the charges when he appeared before Chief Magistrate Roberto Reckley. He was denied bail and the matter was adjourned for the presentation of a voluntary bill of indictment. A senior-ranking policeman accused of raping a 25-year-old woman while on duty has been granted $9,900 bail with strict conditions. Prosecutors allege that 42-year-old Kyle Capron, the commander of the K-9 unit, committed the crime on October 23rd in an unmarked police car after the woman asked him for a ride. At the bail application, the prosecutor, who said she was objecting based on instructions from the acting director of public prosecutions, asked that Capron be kept in custody because the complainant wasn't fair as a result of attempts by Capron and his family to contact her. The prosecutor alleged that Capron went to the woman's home on the day of the incident and tried to call her. He also sent her a WhatsApp message. The prosecutor alleging that Capron's relatives also tried to contact the complainant. Well, the magistrate... in the Supreme Court, ruled that Capron didn't pose a risk to the wider public and that conditions could be put in place to mitigate the risk of contact between him and the accuser. Capron will have to wear an ankle bracelet, sign in at a police station twice a week, and surrender his travel documents. He's also banned from contacting the complainant himself or through his agents. Capron was also admonished to make all relatives aware that any attempt by relatives to influence the accuser could be viewed as a breach of bail. Capron has been suspended from duty pending the outcome of the case. Overseas, Ukraine has already lost the war. It is fighting against Russia's invasion, according to Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban, who said today that he believes Donald Trump will end U.S. support for Kyiv. Orban is hosting 2 days of summits in the Hungarian capital of Budapest on the heels of Trump's election victory. The war in Ukraine will be high on the agenda for this Friday gathering of the European Union's 27 leaders, most of whom believe continuing to supply Ukraine with weapons and financial assistance are key elements for the continent's security. Speaking on state radio, Orban, who is close to both Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin, reiterated his long-held position that an immediate ceasefire should be declared and predicted that Trump will bring an end to the conflict. Russian forces have recently made modest gains in the east of Ukraine, although positions on the front lines have remained relatively stable for months. Still, as the duration of the war approaches 1,000 days now, Ukraine's forces are struggling to match Russia's military, which is much bigger and better equipped. Meanwhile, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau saying that he is reestablishing a special cabinet committee on Canada-U.S. relations to address his administration's concerns about another Donald Trump presidency. Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland, who is also the country's finance minister, will chair the committee, which will also include other top officials, including ministers of foreign affairs, public safety, and industry. Trudeau's office saying in a statement Thursday, quote, following the election of President Donald Trump for a second term, the cabinet committee will focus on critical Canada-U.S. issues. Canada is one of the most trade-dependent countries in the world, and 75% of Canada's exports go to the U.S. During Trump's first time, his move to renegotiate NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement, and reports that he was considering a 25% tariff on the auto sector were considered an existential threat in Canada at the time. Trudeau called Trump on Wednesday to congratulate him, and the two discussed the new free trade deal Trump reached during his first term with Canada and Mexico, the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement, which replaced NAFTA. And from Mexico, for the last 6 years, the country bragged about its often questioned hugs, not bullets strategy, in which its leaders avoided confrontations with drug cartels that were gradually taking control of large parts of the country. The thinking was that social programs, not shootouts, would gradually drain the pool of cartel gunmen. Now, a month into the new term of President Claudia Sheinbaum, a string of bloody confrontations suggests the government is quietly abandoning the no bullets part of the strategy and is much more willing to use the full force of the military and the militarized National Guard. But the challenge Mexico now faces is different from during the country's 2006-2012 drug war. Cartels today are more diversified, more deeply entrenched in migrant smuggling, and more willing to use foreign recruits and adolescents to fill their ranks. All of this has led to a string of violent clashes in which security forces who shoot at suspected drug cartel convoys wind up killing bystanders and migrants, and reporting lopsided death tolls in which soldiers aren't harmed, but most of the suspects are wiped out. And Antigua and Barbuda seeking help from authorities in London to solve the killing of a member of parliament who was found stabbed to death this week. The decision was taken Wednesday by cabinet members who also announced an official funeral for Asot Michael, the 54-year-old, a boisterous and often controversial former government minister whose body was discovered at his seaside home in Antigua on Tuesday. As a former British colony, the twin island nation still has strong ties to Britain and in the past has requested help from London with high-profile police cases. Authorities have not publicly disclosed any suspected motive, and no one has been arrested. It was the first time in memory that a politician has been killed in Antigua, and the case has shocked the island nation. The police commissioner telling the Associated Press that police have questioned several people, saying the death was ruled a homicide given wounds to the body, but declined to give further details. Michael was a businessman whose family owns a local casino and retail shops, including a shoe store. He ascended through the ranks of the governing Antigua and Barbuda party and was well known for being a philanthropist. Most notable was his annual distribution of food, toys, and in some instances, household goods and appliances to constituents at Christmas. Michael had served as Public Works Minister and later held Tourism, Economic Development, and Energy portfolios in cabinet before being ousted from the party in 2022 following various controversies, including an international bribery case in which he has denied wrongdoing. Unfazed by his dismissal, he successfully ran as an independent in 2023 to retain his seat in Parliament. In sports, the Don't Blink Home Run Derby in Paradise, dubbed the greatest show on sand, is set to return for a seventh year, showcasing its rapid growth and expansion. The event will be part of a 4-day showcase starting Wednesday, December 11th, and will conclude on Saturday, December 14th. This year, the Derby has announced a new partnership with the Baha Mar Resort, enhancing its reputation as a premier baseball event. Todd Isaacs Jr., co-founder of the Derby, expressing excitement about the partnership. You can read all about it in today's Guardian Sports section. The 10th annual CG Atlantic Swim Invitational set for Saturday at the Betty Kelly Kenning National Swim Complex, hosted by the Barracuda Swim Club. The event promising to provide a full day of competitive swimming and community engagement. The event will follow World Aquatics and Bahamas Aquatics Federation rules. The Invitational features sessions, the morning session beginning with warm-ups at 7:30 a.m. and the meet kicks off at 9 a.m. The evening session starts with warm-ups at 4 p.m., followed by the meet at 5:30 p.m. Swimmers will compete across various age categories, including 8 and under, 9 to 10, 11 to 12, 13 to 14, and 15 and over. And if you love live boxing, you've got a treat on the horizon. More than a dozen local fighters are in training to prepare for a special boxing showcase this month at Fusion Superplex. Matchmaker Ron Rogers, the manager and trainer at Strikers Boxing Club, is trying to match up 10 fighters, including 2 women, who will climb into the ring on Friday, November 22nd, in the courtyard at Fusion Superplex. Read all about that in today's Guardian Sports section. From the NFL, Thursday Night Football action, a hot one, facing his largest deficit in 3 years. Lamar Jackson led Baltimore back with another dazzling display. He danced along the sideline on one scramble, turning a potential 20-yard loss into a 10-yard gain. He left his feet while throwing the winning touchdown pass, finding Rashad Bateman in the end zone with a flick of a wrist and a follow-through that looked almost like a basketball player's. Jackson threw 3 fourth-quarter touchdown passes, and the Ravens stopped Cincinnati on a 2-point conversion with 38 seconds remaining to hold off the Bengals 35-34 in a thriller last night. The Ravens rallied from a 21-7 third-quarter deficit, overcoming a huge game from Cincinnati receiver Jamar Chase. The Bengals are now 4-6 for the season. Baltimore at 7-3. And more from the NFL. Dak Prescott's injured hamstring is partially torn away from the bone, and surgery for the star quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys is possible, according to a person with knowledge of the situation. The injury, known as a partial avulsion, is likely to lead to an absence longer than the minimum of 4 games that will be required by putting Prescott on the injured reserve list. Potentially season-ending surgery is among the options being considered, according to the person speaking to the Associated Press. In training camp 2 years ago, former Cowboys left tackle Tyron Smith sustained what is called a full avulsion, a complete tear of the hamstring off the bone that requires surgery, and missed 13 games. Sounds painful. Prescott was injured in the second half of the Cowboys' 27-21 loss to Atlanta on Sunday. Dallas 3-5 for the season, preparing for Cooper Rush to start multiple games beginning Sunday at home against NFC East rival Philadelphia. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. Got your first look at weather for today. We've got the pressure gradient between Hurricane Rafael in the Gulf of Mexico and persistent high pressure in the western Atlantic, supporting fresh to locally strong breezes across the Bahamas. Meanwhile, a trough near Puerto Rico will continue to move west and bring some unsettled weather to the southeast Bahamas. Here's what we're expecting today. Mostly sunny conditions, a bit breezy across the northern, northwest, and central Bahamas. Partly cloudy to cloudy and breezy to windy over the southeastern islands. Looking at a 10 to 30% chance of showers across the northern, northwest, and central Bahamas, but a 30 to 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms in the southeast Bahamas. Winds easterly at 15 knots in the northern, northwest, and central islands, but northeast to east at 15 to 25 knots in the southeast Bahamas. Temperature-wise today, we're looking at highs around 85 Fahrenheit, close to 30 Celsius. Look for overnight lows tonight getting down to about 73 Fahrenheit, 23 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook and a look at the tropics coming up after traffic in just a bit.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of the
It is time for a break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
It's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Do you have uncontrollable debt? Are you ready to make that move to Fidelity for a stress-free future? These loans have a built-in savings plan that pays you unbeatable interest. Ask about our debt consolidation loans today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Looking to elevate your gadget game, or are tech troubles simply slowing you down? Escape to a world of innovation at Custom Computers, your go-to store for the latest cutting-edge tech. Whether you need to upgrade your life with the best from Apple and Windows, or your device needs a little TLC, the Custom Computers Know-How Store is the destination for unbeatable expertise and quality repairs. With 2 convenient locations, there's a Custom Computers near you on Patton Street in Palmdale and Cades Village, or call 396-1100.
Thanksgiving has arrived early at Montague Motors. This whole month is Black November with deep discounts on selected models. Roll out this season in style. Montague Motors, trusted quality service for over 20 years. Zero down, everyone. Village Road near Shirley. 698-3950. 812-7576. Call Montague Motors now and get the best discounts the entire month of November.
What's that one gift you've longed for?
My own home.
Build or buy your home with financing from CIBC Caribbean, and we'll gift you up to US $3,000 towards your legal fees. No loan application fee and up to 95% financing. And if you switch your mortgage to us, take the gift of no switching costs up to US $10,000. Plus, we're giving more with double the chance to win one of 3 cash prizes in your country. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/joyofgiving for more information. Terms and conditions apply.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Transform your home for less at Kelly's House and Homes Holiday Paint Sale, Friday, November 1st through Tuesday, December 24th. Enjoy 25% off house and spray paints plus 20% off paint supplies, excluding net items. Our wide selection of paint colors is the perfect way to bring holiday cheer to your home. You'll also find the best selection of brushes, rollers, and pans, glue, bladders, paint thinner, and more. So catch the holiday spirit and paint up for Christmas at Kelly's House and Homes Holiday Paint Sale.
It's easy to go the extra mile when you fill up with Esso Synergy Supreme Plus fuel. It keeps your engine clean and running smoothly, which helps to make every fill up last longer. Choose Esso Synergy Supreme Plus fuel today for better gas mileage and better performance. The Esso brand is a trademark of ExxonMobil Corporation and is used under license. Benefits are based on Synergy branded gasoline compared to gasoline meeting minimum government detergency standards. Actual benefits may vary based on factors such as vehicle type, driving style, and gasoline previously used.
What gift gives you joy?
An investment in land. That's joy to my future.
Finance your land with CIBC Caribbean and we'll gift you up to US $500 towards valuation fees, no loan application fee, and up to 15 years to repay. Plus, we'll also give you the chance to win one of 3 cash prizes in your country from our regional pot of over US $100,000. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/joyofgiving for more information. Terms and conditions apply.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Coming up this morning, we've got a lot to talk about. We are going to tell you about the Slay Your Holiday social media sales event that's coming up. Get the details about that. And then in business, in our 9 o'clock hour, our monthly Safe and Sound series is going to be looking at how safe we're going to be now that Trump is back. What does this mean for security in the region? That's going to be an interesting discussion. If you heard in the overnight, countries are shoring things up and trying to figure out what will the next 4 years be like. I'm sure the same is happening here. We're going to have a great discussion about that this morning. I want to hear from you about that, too. So that's all ahead, but right now there's a lot to talk about in the news. And in the news, before we get into the big stories, just want to say this. I drive by it every day, and I'm in shock. We know the work needed to be done, but the Thomas A. Robinson National Stadium, have you driven by that? Have you been around there recently? The Bahamas Bowl is set for January 4th, so that's less than 2 months away. I want to take bets, not money, not on the air, we can't say that. But bets on whether anybody thinks that's going to be ready in time for that bowl. What's my producer saying? What are you saying? What? No, they're not playing the old stadium. And that's live on ESPN. They're not going to do that. No. But anybody believe that is going to be ready in time? They've taken the roof off. I see they're starting to do something. But they took out all the seats. Less than 2 months? Yeah? I think we need an update. We need an update on what's going on and whether this can be done in time. It's going to be interesting to see. I'm wishing they can do it because the Bahamas Bowl is a cool event. It looks like a... No. Anyway, okay. But let's... What do you think? I want to get your opinion on that. So the other big story, the thing that's got everybody worked up, is what the Prime Minister had to say about the cost of living. So this UB study This is really working people up. And we talked about this earlier in the week, that it's working up in different ways. So people who are in the working class and the lower class, the working class, they are upset because, well, I don't even make anywhere near this. And that's what is needed to have a decent middle class life? Well, my God, right? And then people in the middle class, the two different types of outrage. People saying, well, I don't make that, and I thought I was middle class. And then other people in the upper middle class saying, well, this is nowhere near enough for me, and I probably make that. I don't know what they're saying, but everybody's upset. Nobody's like, yeah, that sounds about right. But the Prime Minister's comments, he says, he had to say two different things yesterday because of the first thing he said. They got people so worked up on social media that they had to backtrack. Take a listen to what went down yesterday in this report from our Vonique Toot.
Amid backlash over his earlier comments on a University of the Bahamas study, which found that middle-class families need $10,000 a month to live decently, Prime Minister Philip Davis insisted he was not seeking to downplay the cost of living, which he acknowledged is too high. Here's what Davis said on Thursday morning when initially asked to respond to the study.
I've seen and heard about the report. I've not studied this yet. But one thing, when you talk about cost of living also is determined by one's choices, what one chooses to do, what one does not choose to do. In fact, until I understand all of the elements and the factors that was taken into account to determine conclusions, I will not wish to comment on it.
Those comments were characterized by some as insensitive to the plight of Bahamians. However, Davis said he was not criticizing anyone's choice, as no matter what they choose, it is expensive.
There's no doubt that there's a concern, and I'm concerned about the high cost of living. Right? This is something that's brought on by inflation. Inflation brought on by the pandemic, which caused a lot of disruption in our supplies. It's brought on by the conflict in Ukraine, and it's not impacting only us, it's impacting most countries. And so we are not in any way downplaying the cost of living. We accept that, and we are doing what we can to ensure we work to press to defeat it.
Davis says though inflation is leveling out, it is clear it is not reaching Bahamian consumers.
We cause a lot of initiatives to be put in place to combat the cost of living, right? But whether it's being passed on to the Bahamian people, we have not seen that. But yet still, those savings that we expected is being eaten up by the pressing issues of inflation. So when I speak about choices, it's not to do with whether it's demeaning the cost of living, because whatever you choose today is expensive when it comes down to how we live. But I may choose to eat a hamburger today as opposed to going and getting a steak. Right? So when I speak to choices, that's what I'm talking about. But the hamburger is still very expensive today, as is the steak.
The study found that a middle-class family of 4 in New Providence needs a monthly income of $10,200 to have a decent life, or $10,100 a month if living in Grand Bahama. The findings are contained in UB researcher Leslie Archer's paper, How Much Does It Cost to Be Middle Class in the Bahamas? It was published on October 23rd in the International Journal of Bahamian Studies. The study also includes updated cost of living estimates for a low-income family of 4.
Okay, Vonique Toot with that report there. All right, so let's get your opinion on all of this, folks. I got to tell you, I think on the comments afterward were probably more damaging than the initial comments. I don't think there was anything wrong with what he said initially. People are very sensitive. And again, this study is all about choices. If you choose, if you aspire to be middle class, and we'll have you be on in the next few days, I believe, to talk about this. Exactly what they were doing. But it's if you choose to, if you desire to have the middle class life, which in the Bahamas seems to be sending your kids to private school and living in certain neighborhoods and doing certain things, that's what it looked at, right? Not the bare essentials, what you need to barely make it or to survive. It's if you desire to have the middle class, in quotation marks, Bahamian lifestyle. So it is about choices. It absolutely is. And but the stuff he said afterwards, oh boy. Let's get your reaction to it. I think everybody really needs to calm down. It is expensive, and the government can do more, without a doubt. Without a doubt. And I think that's what some people were upset about. Like, okay, fine. Some people are choosing to do this, but you all are not doing enough to fight inflation. Yes, prices are coming down, but we're not seeing that in the stores. I think I told you a story about some dog biscuits for a very special dog in my life that were before the pandemic $4.99 for a box. It's jumped to $9.99. How? What's in it now? Is it gold plated? What's going on? Right? Why would it be that much more? And you couldn't find it for months, and suddenly it came back. But now it's $9.99. Inflation is down, everybody says, but that price isn't dropped. Just one example. But right, what more can be done there? And as people rightly pointed out, we now have that on everything, literally. And we've been complaining about the double VAT if you're bringing in things, if you're shipping in things. And duties are still high on things that we desperately need, including car parts, to make it on these treacherous streets. So it is very expensive living in the Bahamas. We're still in that top 10 of the most expensive places in the world. We know there are initiatives. We've had them on the show talking about what they're trying to do with suppliers. So that is happening, but it's not happening fast enough for most people. But that's me rambling on. Let's hear from you. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Call us toll free 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us 422-4796. What do you think? Everybody take a chill pill if you can afford it, or what are we missing? Let's hear from you. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, Grand Rising, Dwight.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yes, sir. Dwight, another disappointing statement from our Prime Minister again, right? And this is probably the fourth time our Prime Minister said something, and when the public reacted it, he started backpedaling, right? When this gentleman came inside the House of Assembly after being elected, he was interviewed by some media house, and they asked him what he was, how he was going to deal with the people, or how he was going to survive, or something like that, right? And he said something that like the rich is going to get richer and the poor is going to get poorer. That came out of his mouth. They have that on video circulating. So when he said what he said the other day, that ain't no surprise to me, because what people are crying about, what, like you mentioned, what on everything, what on the bread basket item would cause it to be so unaffordable for Bahamians. If Bahamians could afford living in Life Key, you think they was going to choose being town? No. So this Prime Minister, he is just skating around, but I believe he is really tired of that position, because the things that he is saying, there's no way nobody in their right mind can sit down and say, let me run to the polls and vote this man back in power, right? So I read that as he is trying to get out of that position, man, because what you done to make life better for the Bahamians, what? Hey, great. The people that are literally suffering in this country, man, literally, right? So the Prime Minister, that's cop-out number 5. Have a nice day.
Yikes. Okay. I hear you. Thank you very much. Let's hear this caller. Good morning. You're on the air.
Morning, sir. Pleasant day.
Hi, good morning.
I thought of you this week on one of your morning introductions. As a matter of fact, all week since the time has changed. You have been very comprehensive in your bringing of the news, internationally, locally, and so on.
Thank you.
I would like to commend you also for sticking on this particular topic, because it caught my attention instantly. Actually, we need to commend the author of that research, and that
yes, Leslie Archer,
very much so. time we also spoke about strength, where you're paying the same price but you're getting a less volume. The word is shrinkflation.
Maybe, yeah, shrinkflation. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But my concern also is who really is the middle class? Shouldn't all college graduates working in professions, teachers and all the rest of us, and even a skilled mechanic and all of those people, shouldn't we all be in the what we call the middle class? But it doesn't seem so, because I've seen several teachers for years, and they're still walking. And in terms of what is needed.
Now, is that a choice, or is it they can't afford a car?
No, because of the salary, because of the low.
Okay.
I'm talking about because they can't afford it. Yes, they cannot afford it because they're not being paid sufficiently to afford it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And even in the stuff that we're getting in the food store, some of them, even before they reach expiration date, they are spoiled. I've opened a box of Raisin Bran and I've seen insects jumping out of it. And then the expiration date goes into December. December hasn't reached yet. I have another one expiring in 2025, and I'm seeing cobwebs within the cereal boxes.
Oh dear. Yeah, it's scary.
So, so it's between a rock and a hard place, and economy, like how Trump. Just is a corn. It's something that you match somebody's corn.
Mm-hmm.
Once you're talking about the pocketbook and the cost of living and the situation, it comes home. But if you were to sweep it under the rug, we may get away. But it's a hard thing to know how do we actually solve it. That's why we know how we solve it and how we bring it back and how we really make people make ends meet. That's a hard one. I don't know what the answer is, but it's really rough and tough. And it's only. Maybe if you're drinking 2 spoons of water, drink a half spoon.
Oh, boy. That's what some would suggest, absolutely. Thank you very much. Appreciate your comments this morning. Boy. Let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You are on the air.
Morning, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well. Turn on your radio for us, please.
Yeah, it's down. Boy, I don't know. I think that wording came out a bit wrong, man. Because I think when you talk about driving the economy, I mean, you would want to build this middle class. That's how you are able to do a lot of things in this country, man. So that should be a priority. The cost of living. I mean, the statement the PM made. It's highly influenced, by a broader implication and factors. So to say it's by choice, it's kind of insulting to many.
No. He didn't say it like that. He didn't say it was by choice. He said the choices you make determine a lot of things.
See, choices we make, we don't set policies, Dwight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a choice where I got.
Okay, well, let's look at it this way. So I don't know if this is what you meant. I cannot speak. I don't want to do that. But so let's look at the middle class. There are a lot of if you must send your children to public school, there are a lot of more affordable public schools. You don't have to go to the one that's more than most universities, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's what he kind of was trying to say. Right?
No, but also you still drawing a comparison to one thing, because you got housing, you got utilities, you got food prices, you got healthcare, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got all of these things that people don't have. These are policies. Just the other day, you made a decision to up the gas price at the pump when you don't even have proper transportation for people to have an alternative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. To be honest, I live almost at Adelaide. Bus running out here.
Yep.
Home insurance for mortgages. Your BEC bill is in a area 200 medium where you don't use air conditioning and stuff for 2 to 3 bedroom home. So these are policies. Yes, some people make choices of eating out and all of these other stuff and sending their kids to private school. But the bare minimum for you to be able to have a small business in this country, or to you to operate, to have a home, and a low cost home is over $200,000 these days. So those particular things probably struck a nerve with some Bahamians, man, because the policies of the government, while in addition to decisions people make, because people should be aspiring to be in the middle class, that's what builds our economy.
Yeah.
So I guess thankful he came back and tried to clarify, but I think making a statement, and you said you didn't even sit down and read the report, man.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I felt worse after hearing about you could eat a burger instead of steak.
Okay,
that made me feel even more uncomfortable. I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't like that part. Ground beef for you. No. Oh boy. Anyway, hey, thanks for calling. Let's take this call. Good on the air.
Dwight, how are you?
Doing well. Good morning.
Very good, very good. I've been praying for you. I will continue to pray for you, Dwight.
Well, thank you very much.
Dwight, I want to join in with the young lady. Oh, just let me get this clear. Myself and Dwight, we are friends. We disagree, and anyone disagree to agree.
Why? What's happening? People out there tell you that...
I don't know. They believe that myself and you. They believe myself and you are, But anyway, let me get to the point. I want to join the gentleman earlier in the support of the young lady. Name? Hello?
Yes. Say that part again. What was that?
The young lady that gave out that right to census or did the
study.
research.
Did the study, yes.
I want to salute her. Dwight, we cannot be in denial. Yes, myself and Tosh, when I raised the issue of the erosion of the family structure. But that is one of the issues right there, Dwight, that this is why we have in this social dilemma, not only here, but also in America. Dwight, $300 may sound like a lot of money, but $300 cannot sustain one household, one salary. It cannot. And Dwight, I am a self-employed person for more than 40 years, and I find myself struggling with my bills in terms of how to manage. I now have to sacrifice, and I have to really be very, very vigilant on how. And I often ask the question, how one household bring home $300 survive? And this is what takes me to my passion of the erosion of the family. Because one salary alone cannot do it. And I agree, I salute the young lady and her research because I've been saying this a long time. And this is why we have the social dilemma, because it's a lot of confusion in the household. We're not making ends meet. This is real. And Dwight, I want to add this on. I don't know if I am superstitious, but this is a plan from the enemy, and this is a spiritual attack.
Okay. See, this is why we always have to drift apart. So who is...
we're not going to get into any war.
But I'm just saying, nobody says that you should have one.
As to what's going on with the family.
A single person with no kids is struggling in this economy, right?
Agreed.
So, nobody in their right mind thinks that you should be a single parent with 3, 4, 5 children. That's crazy. That's crazy. So where are the other people? Where are the other people in these relationships? No one's stopping them from being a part. Like, you got to be a part of this. So nobody disagrees with you. Right?
Okay.
But the enemy, what would the enemy get out of this? Whoever the enemy is.
What they get out of it?
Mm-hmm.
Prosperity and economics, which they call.
How?
There are some folks in this country, they are escalating in terms of
Not because
financial success.
Not because they caused a couple not to want to stay together. How? How would that help them?
Oh, listen, Dwight, let's admit it. I mean, the lady did her research. I want you to show me how 300, I just using an estimate figure now. I am not no economist, and I don't claim to be one. I know myself make a suitable salary, and I struggle. And I've grown, and my children are grown. My baby is 37 years old. I am saying to you is this. When I go to the food store sometimes, I am struggling. And I'm asking the same question. How can one person who is working in a household sustain a house? That's my question.
You're talking about if they make minimum wage. Yes.
Yes.
We all know this. Thanks a lot for calling. That is not right. Everybody knows that it's not sustainable, and that's why we keep talking about a livable wage, because it's not going to work. And if you are the only person, you make minimum wage and you have multiple children, if you have one child, God help you, right? You can't even live on your own if you make minimum wage here. So we know this. Now, what are we going to do about it? That's a little bit different from what we're talking about right now, and the controversy with the comments of the Prime Minister about people who aspire to or are considered middle class today. And we want to get your reaction to what he said to that. Got a lot of your great text messages. We'll get to those in a bit. Let's take this call, though. Good morning, caller. You're on.
Morning, Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
Well, Dwight, if the PM don't think, or successive PMs don't think Bahamians are taking austerity measures, they need to think again. Because you see the size of the cars with Bahamians driving now, right? Compared to what we used to drive back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
You see where we get trying to source stuff from. We even want to look to America, and we try to go to China to get cheaper stuff. You understand? My Grammy always tell me, say, GNN, it ain't what you say, It's how, when, and where you say it. You understand? But see, the PM, them ain't got no problem. They don't have no problem. Because when he come from among us, so he must be talking to himself, because when he can pick out a $200,000 BMW to ride around in and $2 billion plus for extra travel, then he got to be the man in the mirror. Thanks for taking my call.
Well, he knows firsthand that your choices fuel your cost of living. Yes. That's what he's saying. Okay, let's take this call. Good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Good morning.
Dwight, how you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Dwight, today your paper is indirect attack on the Prime Minister. What today's paper?
Why would you say that? It's just
Because,
reporting what he said.
It highlights his nonsensical speech and everything they're doing. Choice of fuel, your choices, fuel cost of living, government promise action on high cost of living. David says he's not worried about climate change. Upgrade to BPL grid imminent.
I don't see how repeating what you say to the public is an attack. It's just holding up the mirror.
Government promises action on high cost of living. You remember we have people, in fact, a host on your show explain this in detail.
Mm-hmm.
We import inflation, so what he's going to do, stop importing stuff into the country, or he has to be able to control the global economy?
Remember now, the plan is to seek different suppliers.
Yeah, but I can come back to that, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
I think there was a president that said during the debate that the economy is stupid. Upgrade a BPL grid. The announcement where it says that they did 40,000 feet of cable. Do you know you put two cables? Two cables on each run that you do. So when you actually divide by the 5280, right, that comes to be about 7.5 miles divided by 2. That's 3.5 miles. But it sounds like a lot when you say 40,000 feet of cable and you use these things like 129 poles. It sounds like you did a lot on an island with so much different corridors. So. But let's go back to the research that was done with Ms. Archer.
Yeah, we're going to talk more about BPL in a little bit. Yeah, let's stick to this one first.
That's what I'm going to come back to.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what happens. Ms. Archer stated the reality, and whether you start eating corned beef rather than roast beef or ground beef rather than steak, it doesn't change the figures of what it requires to sustain you at the level required to be identified as middle class.
Right.
So what he's saying is just be comfortable in your class, because I don't care if you go back to eating corned beef or ground beef and you're still not making the $10,000 a month, you are not middle class. If you are making $10,000 a month and you're eating those, then you're still middle class, because it doesn't change the definition. what has happened is that
this is what he said. This is what you got from or this is what you're saying.
No, it is a fact because when he says your churches fuel your cost, he says your churches fuel cost of living. I'm simply saying this: cost yes, you could it fuel your cost of living, but it conflates the definition of where middle class is.
Mm-hmm.
Then you understand? Those are two different. Those are two different things. And so essentially, he attacked the fact that you don't make sufficient income. The economy has not grown to keep up with the inflation. Wages have not grown. Housing stock has become less and increasing in the cost of living, fueled by the fact that the government knows we don't have the housing stock, but yet you have the Tourism Development Corporation and the Minister of Tourism encouraging people to convert their homes into bed and breakfasts, which reduces even more the stock. And if you looked at the Prime Minister 8-point response into the misstatement that's posted on the Office of the Prime Minister's site, they're just talking points.
All right. I don't want to cause trouble here, but I mean the number. Do you think that's higher, lower, or about the same of what it would be for the U.S.?
Actually, it's comparative.
Yeah, isn't it?
For the U.S., because what you do is you take the U.S. figures and add 20% for VAT and shipping and other different things, and you will end up with the same figures. That's what I'm saying to you. This is a stable figure. This is a formula that's accepted. You know the same way you say we must accept when they define unemployment and they don't count the disenfranchised or the people who dropped out. It's the same thing. It's a formula that is used. So we can't change it to what we want. What we have to do now is identify how many people, how many families we have living in this class of people, how many families we have living in the upper middle class, and then look at the working class and the underclass. And those two pieces are right there is important because it will begin to show us the true condition of this economy by looking at the working class and looking at the underclass. We get to see poverty and abject poverty. And so I would love to see the next study to give us a realistic poverty level rate, which should be around about $6,000 to $7,000 per person per household. Then have an analysis using the census data and NIB data, and we could see the crisis we are in doing it. And let me just end in saying this: we have to grow the economy, and just like Ms. Teresa the lady, the economist says, we must bring on skills for the 21st century in a globally competitive environment. Let me end again saying this. Remember they said Donald Trump never had any war, didn't start anything? Well, they were talking about the war and traditional war. Donald Trump did start some war. He started a fight for technological supremacy and other different things.
It was a trade war.
Trade war, and technological supremacy. Those things that for the next 4 years is going to totally transform the global economy. And if we keep using 20th century and 19th century concepts, we're going to find ourselves even in a worse condition beginning in January. Yeah. And so we have to have a real conversation. What do we do to grow the economy? What do we do to prepare people for the proper skill set to be able to choose those things we want to grow the economy by? And that's the conversation we're not having. What we're having is talk around things, putting money back in behemoth pockets, energy sector reforms that nobody knows about, food production that nobody can explain what the strategy is, access to affordable housing that nobody understands, and is just complaining. It's simply, we have to get past the talking point. We have to go from talk and begin to have thought in our leadership.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right. We got a whole lot of great text messages to get to. We're going to get to those after the break. This is Morning Blend on a Friday morning here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Whoa, out of my mind. How many times did I tell you I'm no good at being alone? Yeah, it's taking a toll on me. Trying my best to keep from tearing the skin off my bones. Don't you know I lose control?
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Christmas wish for all of you. Get a no-fee loan from RBC, it's true.
No more wishing for your Christmas ideas to come true. Get a no-fee loan from RBC and make those ideas a reality.
It's a Christmas wish for all of you. Get a no-fee loan from RBC, it's true.
Finding the right loan for all of your Christmas ideas starts with a conversation. Visit a branch to speak with an advisor today. Offer ends December 31st.
It is time for your first look at traffic for the morning, brought to you by RBC. Find your loan solution with RBC. And a reminder of the work that is going on Mount Royal Avenue. Work between 7 p.m. and 2:30 a.m. nightly, beginning at Shirley Street. So only residents will be permitted access. And the motoring public is advised to follow all posted signs in the area or avoid the area if you can. That's going to continue until November 15th. And paving is going on some stretch of some parts of Cowpen Road. So keep that in mind if you're in the area when that is taking place. In your real-time traffic right now, we've got a number of hot spots to tell you about. We've got Mile Butler Highway, heavy traffic from well south of Fire Trail roundabout already if you're heading northbound. And that's going to lead you all the way to Tawny Coombs Darling Highway. Traffic is building on the Fire Trail side, eastbound and westbound at this hour. Over on Glasson Road, also busy for you, just north of Fire Trail, straight up to John F. Kennedy Drive, Bahamar Boulevard roundabout if you're heading northbound. A lot of building traffic on Carmichael westbound to Coral Harbor Road at this hour, and some heavy traffic on the eastbound side as you get closer to Blue Hill Road. Blue Hill Road is going to be busy for you from St. Vincent straight up to the roundabout with Independence Drive if you're heading northbound, especially north of Carmichael and north of Soldier. It's going to pick up again for you on Blue Hill near Robinson Road roundabout and straight up to Celery Drive near Yellow Elder Primary this morning, northbound there. All right, and then we've got Prince Charles Drive at the major intersections and near Elizabeth Estates, and especially as you get closer to Soldier Road into Robinson Road, heavy westbound traffic for you. And Eastern Road is busy from just west of San Souci to about Johnson Road this morning. That's what we're seeing right now. We'll have another update for you after the 8 news. Morning Blend Traffic brought to you by RBC. Start a conversation at rbc.com/loan/all of you. And time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Easy Car Sales. We've got the pressure gradient between Hurricane Rafael and the Gulf of Mexico and persistent high pressure in the western Atlantic, supporting fresh to locally strong breezes across the country. Meanwhile, a trough near Puerto Rico will continue to move west and bring unsettled weather across the southeast Bahamas beginning today. Small craft advisories in effect. Beachgoers are advised to exercise caution due to an elevated risk of rip currents and rough surf mainly along northern and eastern shorelines. We'll have a closer look at the tropics in just a bit, but in your weather for today, expect mostly breezy conditions today, sunny as well across most of the country, the northern, northwest, and central Bahamas. But for the southeastern islands, partly cloudy to cloudy and breezy to windy. Got about a 10 to 30% chance of showers over the northern, northwest, and central Bahamas, but 30 to 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms for the southeastern islands. Temperatures today, we're looking at highs around 85 Fahrenheit, 30 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down about 73 Fahrenheit, 23 Celsius. In your extended outlook for Saturday, partly sunny and breezy across the northern and northwest Bahamas, partly cloudy to cloudy and breezy to windy over the central and southeastern islands. Rain chances really going up for the central and southeastern islands by tomorrow. Sunday, variably cloudy and breezy to windy over all areas About a 20 to 40% chance of showers in the northern and northwest Bahamas, but 40 to 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms for the central and southeastern islands. And by Monday, partly cloudy to cloudy and a bit breezy. So we're watching this area near the Leeward Islands. Trough of low pressure over the northern Leeward Islands continues to produce disorganized showers and thunderstorms. Some gradual development of the system is possible in the next few days, and it has about a 20% chance of tropical cyclone formation. Regardless of development, locally heavy rains will be possible over the southeast Bahamas beginning today and into the weekend, as we just told you. So keep that in mind for that part of the country beginning today. We'll have a look at Hurricane Rafael in our next weather check after the 8 o'clock news. This weather check brought to you by Easy Car Sales, having a sale on all 2024 EV models while they last. And now in-house financing is back to make it easy for everyone to drive electric. Visit easy242.com to find out more.
It turns out that there is more than one special gift to give that special someone this Christmas. Consumers are searching for the perfect presents and the right prices. So why not place your products or services in the Nassau Guardian's Holiday Gift Guide? And this year's Christmas shoppers will be sure to find that special something for everyone on their list. For an all-inclusive price, you can have your ads published twice in December in the Nassau Guardian's Holiday Gift Guide, in addition to 10, 15, and 30-second commercials, and not to mention a web ad on the Nassau Guardian's website. Advertising deadline, remember, is November 29th. For more information, contact your sales agents or call the Nassau Guardian Advertising Department at 302-2300. That's 302-2300. And ask about our Holiday Gift Guide Media Bundle. You don't want to miss this opportunity. Ring in those holiday profits by placing an ad in the Nassau Guardian Holiday Gift Guide.
In the world of business, technology is not a choice, it's a necessity. And for businesses that demand excellence, there's only one choice for unparalleled support and cutting-edge technology. Custom Computers. You have challenges and we have solutions. Computing, networking, storage, and printing for enterprises large and small, aligned with premium brands like HP, Microsoft, Konica Minolta, and more. Get tech done the right way with Custom Computers. Call the Know-How team at 396-1101.
It's a Christmas wish for all of you. Get a no-fee loan from RBC, it's true.
No more wishing for your Christmas ideas to come true. Get a no-fee loan from RBC and make those ideas a reality.
It's a Christmas wish for all of you. Get a no-fee loan from RBC, it's true.
Finding the right loan for all of your Christmas ideas starts with a conversation. Visit a branch to speak with an advisor today. Offer ends December 31st.
Around the world, Cleveland Clinic is recognized as a leader in healthcare. Our team of experts relentlessly pursues the best for our patients. From groundbreaking cancer research to state-of-the-art heart surgery, life-saving innovations happen here every day. When it's time to travel for your health, it's time to travel to Cleveland Clinic. Your destination for care, for every care in the world. To learn more, visit clevelandclinic.org/Caribbean.
The Tourism Development Corporation is calling all Bahamian musicians. We're launching the Street Musician Program to bring vibrant live performances to downtown Nassau. If you play unplugged instruments like acoustic guitar, saxophone, or violin, we're looking for 15 musicians to join this exciting initiative. No professional experience needed. Just submit a 90-second performance video by November 8th. Visit bahamas.com/pilot street musician and sign up today.
Pinder is carrying a new line of tile, the Sky series of porcelain. It comes in 4 colors, Sky Noir, Sky Azure, Sky Gris, and this one, Sky Glance. In this particular tile, I think you'll find coin gray, silver gray, cloud gray, and gray. All of these seamlessly blended to make the Sky Glance one beautiful tile. The Sky series of porcelain comes in 2 formats, 24 by 24 at $5.30 a square foot and 12 by 24 at $525 a square foot.
Maybe it's time to explore your options. There's no harm in reviewing your mortgage arrangement and considering a better deal. CIBC Caribbean can help you narrow your search and decide. Switch your mortgage to CIBC Caribbean and enjoy a special interest rate and help towards your switching cost. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/inspired home for more information. Conditions apply.
For fast, reliable, and impactful printing services, look no further. Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life. We stand by our quality products that is second to none. Our affordable pricing and friendly, efficient staff makes Printmasters the ultimate choice for all your printing needs. We can deliver any type of printing services, from banners to booklets to business cards. You name it, we can print it.
Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
We were set to battle, and your Aunt Angie was leading the pack when...
Aunt Angie, what does this have to do with car damage?
Oh, right. Well, long story long. I took down the assassins and wound up inventing a new form of mixed martial arts. I became an international champion until one sore loser karate kicked my car. But I was covered with CG.
Covered for malicious damage and more. CG Atlantic Insurance Agents and Brokers. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
This message is proudly endorsed by the Minister of Economic Affairs, Senator the Honorable Michael B. Halkitis.
I'm proud to introduce the Made in the Bahamas certification, a mark of pride and quality. Join us on Thursday, November 14th at 5:30 p.m. for the BBSQ's National Town Hall meeting at the Holy Trinity Anglican Church Activities Center. This free 2-hour event is your chance to learn more about the Made in the Bahamas certification program and how it benefits us all.
This year, Roberts Furniture and Omni Flash Cash are giving you cash in a flash. Receive up to $3,500 in financing from Omni and get cash discounts up to $500 from Roberts Furniture in just 3 easy steps. Choose your furniture, submit your documents, arrange your delivery. It's that simple. Put furniture in your house and up to $500 in your pocket, all within 72 hours. Omni Flash Cash and Roberts Furniture. Quality, comfort, style, and cashback discounts. Visit Roberts Furniture, 5th Terrace, Centerville for details. Phone 322-8862. Like us on Facebook.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM.
Good judgment, I know I've good taste. It's funny and it's ironic that only I feel that way. I promise them that you're different, and everyone makes mistakes, but just don't. I heard that you're an actor, so act like a stand-up guy. Whatever devil's inside you, don't let him out tonight. I tell them it's just your culture, and everyone rolls their eyes. Yeah, I know. All I'm asking, baby, please, 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 don't prove I'm right. Please, 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 don't bring me to tears when I just did my makeup so
Wow. Welcome back to Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan with you on this Friday morning. You know, it's a big hit song, but the lyrics are unbelievably excellent for what we are talking about today and dealing with in the Bahamas. Begging people to please, please, please don't bring tears to our eyes with the stuff that you do and say. Wow. Anyway, we're going to get back to our conversation on the Prime Minister's comments about choices and the backpedaling from that. Affecting your cost of living, where a lot of people are saying, nope, it's the choices that you made, Prime Minister Davis, and others feeling different ways about it. Lots of different views coming out this morning. So we'll get back to that in a minute. Just want to let you know, if you don't know already, the Nassau Guardian is celebrating its 180th anniversary this month. And as a result, we are celebrating in a big way. They're going to be doing another Spot the Logo, the 180th logo drawing today. You still have time to get your entries in before the drawing at 12:30 p.m. That's supposed to be live on the Foundation with Howard Grant at 12:30 today to see who's going to win today's jackpot. But that's happening. And also there's Blast from the Past every day this month in the Nassau Guardian, looking back at front pages from the Nassau Guardian over these 18 decades. Today, a powerful Blast from the Past about an event 10 years ago. 10 years ago tomorrow, when we lost Dr. Miles Monroe and so many other wonderful people in that tragic plane crash on November 9th. And the paper from that day is in today's Nassau Guardian. So all month long, it's been amazing headlines and stories from the Nassau Guardian, and that will continue straight up to the anniversary day, November 23rd, which is Saturday. We're going to be celebrating in a big way on November 25th, so you definitely want to stay tuned for that. All right, so we're talking about what the Prime Minister had to say. Your choices fuel the cost of living. But he is acknowledging that the prices are too high. We're going to get to the OPM statement on the high cost of living in a bit. But we got a lot of your text messages. You can continue to text us, 422-4796, and call in 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, toll free 242-300-5720. Let's get through some of your messages here. We've got some really good ones, some long ones as well, like this one. Prime Minister Davis's comments were insulting, insensitive, uncaring, and lacking concern for many Bahamians who are struggling every day and night to put food on the table due to the extremely high cost of living. Listen, the struggle is real. People are eking out a living literally. What Prime Minister Davis is doing, and it is god-awful, is minimizing the lived experience of many Bahamians. He has shown plainly and clearly that he is out of touch and does not care about the daily lived experience of many Bahamians. Let us be very clear. The real question is, what is Prime Minister Davis and the PLP doing to bring relief to the people? Bahamian people need to be clear-eyed about this. Davis and the PLP don't care about the people. Oh boy. They have no compassion for the people. They are detached, distance, and in checking for the people. The F&M took VAT off breadbasket items. Prime Minister Davis and PLP put it on again when they came to office. They were directly responsible for making the cost of food more expensive for those who could least afford it. That is an undisputed fact. Even Bishop Lache Boyd over a year ago at a synod publicly pleaded with Prime Minister Davis and the PLP to remove VAT from the breadbasket items. What did they do? Nothing. The struggle is real. It's every day. People are really and truly hurting, but rather than bring relief, Prime Minister Davis chooses to shamelessly and shamefully blame them. Imagine that for the higher cost of living they are living and experiencing. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Okay. Here's another one. Someone should have given the PM a side of Grey Poupon with his elite remarks. Please don't try to defend his statements. They were grossly insensitive. Yeah. Oh, my. Okay. Some more of your messages. For all those that are crying, suck it up. It's a new day. That's what you get when you vote on emotions instead of issues. Huh? Okay, it was 3 years ago now. Come on. Anyway, do you think that it would be more proactive in mitigating inflation by investing maybe resources from the $10 million PR Tourism Fund in our Department of Agriculture and strategically establishing real tangible partnerships with our Caribbean neighbors in the region instead of relying so heavily on substandard genetically modified foods? Well, I hope you listen to the show regularly. Maybe you don't. But we just had a discussion about this, and this is part of the plan. I'm not sure about that money issue, but they are reaching out to other suppliers, other parts of the world, and seeking to do just that. And they've had some meetings with vendors and with distributors and people who are potentially going to be distributors, and I'm sure more of that is coming. So stay tuned. This person says the Prime Minister has been comfortable for so long that he can't relate. It is like the person who got the job saying the people who didn't get the job did something wrong. It was a zero-sum game. Okay. All right. This person says here that study listed very basic choices. Sending your child to private school is not an outrageous luxury. No, this is what I said earlier, though. But it depends on the school, though. Some people are choosing some very outrageous private schools when some very decent ones, maybe even the best ones, are much cheaper. So sometimes it is a choice with some things. And I suspect that's where he was going. I can't be certain, but I suspect that's where he was going. But anyway, let's continue with your text. Living in a nice neighborhood that's not behind Albany or Old Fort Bay gates is not reckless spending. If you have a mortgage, a child in daycare, and or a child in private school, and you decide you'd like to eat lettuce, you absolutely need $10,000 or more per month to live comfortably. And yes, that part can't be denied, right? And as we said earlier, I mean, I don't think it's off far from what you would need for most parts of the world. So for those who think that is an exaggerated number, you're very confused, and that's on the low end. But everybody's got a different view on this number. Everybody. We'll take one more call before we have to go to the news. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Well, good morning, Dwight. I'll be brief, watching the clock.
Hi.
You know, people who eat steak used to pay 12% VAT on their steak. Their steak just went down to 10%, so it got cheaper. How do we make up the loss of revenue? Oh, I know. We put 10% from 0 to 10% on the corned beef for the poor
Did it get
people.
cheaper, though, Graham? Did it get cheaper? Did you
Well,
notice
it
it
went
go
from 10
down?
to 12%.
The VAT
right?
did, but did the price go down?
Okay, I only got 30 seconds left, so move on. Why is there VAT on food? Second thing, and I want to focus on this. Fuel in Venezuela is 12 cents a gallon. Everything here is double. So why don't we get that
Now,
fuel
you know
and sell it for
Venezuela's not a
24
good
cents,
example.
24 cents a gallon here, right? Would be $2.40 to fill up a cube. What would you do with the extra money? If we got that fuel to put in our generators, right? What would the savings be? This is something that I said in 2014
Yeah.
at an energy summit. So we're not serious about relieving the misery on the people. And I'm going to leave you with that thought today. It's time to fix the Bahamas because we have always been great.
Okay.
Have a good one.
Thanks a lot, Graham. Hey, Venezuela's not an example anyone should bring up at all, ever. And some others. But let's go to the break for news. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Prove I'm right. Please, 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 don't bring me to tears when I just did my makeup so nice. Heartbreak is one thing, my ego's another. I beg you, don't embarrass me.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
I want you to stay till I'm in the grave, till I rot away, dead and buried, till I'm in the casket you carry. If you go, I'm going too, 'cause it was always you. And if I'm turning blue, please don't save me. Nothing left to lose without my baby. Birds of a feather, we should stick together. I know I said I'd never think I wasn't better alone. Can't change the weather, might not be forever, but if it's forever, it's even better. And I don't.
We're back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 99. Dwight Strachan with you on this Friday morning. All right, we're getting your reaction to the comments from the Prime Minister yesterday on cost of living. We'll get back to your text messages in just a bit. I want to read this story, though, on the statement that the Office of the Prime Minister released after all this yesterday. Our Travis Cartwright Carroll writing about it. Following a University of the Bahamas study on the cost of living for middle-class Bahamians, the Office of the Prime Minister said yesterday that the government is committed to addressing the stubbornly high cost of living. The statement said, quote, "These challenges are not new. They are deeply rooted in long-standing structural issues in our economy that have been building over many years, from limited competition in essential industries to high shipping costs, monopolized sectors, and a housing market affected by high demand from vacation rentals. The cost of living has remained persistently high in the Bahamas. In fact, the Bahamas ranks among the top 6 most expensive places in the world, a reflection of these entrenched issues. Monopolies and a lack of competition in key areas mean that Bahamians often have limited choices and pay higher prices for goods and services. Additionally, the growth of the short-term rental market has squeezed rental inventory, making it more challenging and costly for Bahamians to find affordable housing. These structural issues require a committed approach, not just for short-term relief, but for long-term, lasting change. That's why, building on the work we've already started, the Davis administration is moving forward with bold actions to tackle these issues head-on. OPM said the Prime Minister intends to review the study, which he said yesterday that he hadn't had a chance to do as yet. It said the government is committed to building a fairer, more competitive economy that puts Bahamians first. The Davis administration will, according to OPM, address the lack of competition, increase consumer protection, provide more money for Bahamians via increased wages, and reduce duties on imported items, and energy reforms to reduce the cost of electricity. OPM said the government will also support families and students, expand local food production, increase access to affordable housing, and diversify trade partnerships to improve supply chains and bring down the cost of essential goods. It's a lot. That's a lot of promises, and potentially not much time. It's going to be interesting to see how this is done. We've heard of some of these already, but It said in the statement, quote, "The challenges we face are complex and require bold action, and we know that structural changes take time. But this government is committed to a fairer, more competitive economy that works for every Bahamian. We'll keep pushing for solutions that address these long-standing issues and build a foundation for lasting progress. This administration will continue to listen, take action, and build a path toward a more affordable Bahamas for all." Okay. Hey, big talk. Sounds good. Let's hear what you have to say about it. We talked about this early in the week, that the government needs to consider it, really incentivizing landowners, people who have rental properties, to keep the rent at a certain level, cap the rent control. That really needs to be a thing, and they've got to look at it. We've got a major crisis here. Encourage people to pursue the rental market and not Airbnb, etc. That's one thing. But there's a whole lot more that needs to be done. The headline in the Tribune, we heard about this. I wasn't paying attention to it, but because it's free delivery, I thought, you could get that. But no, they meant free delivery from Amazon to the Bahamas? Okay. So they are, of course, in typical Tribune fashion, looking at this from the retailer's perspective, and of course retailers aren't happy about that. But what about consumers? That might be a Merry Christmas indeed for some people, right? So a little bit from the Tribune article. Seismic. Amazon in free delivery Bahamas threat. Oh my goodness. Global giant confirms deal for purchases over $49. So they're writing that Bahamian retailers, courier companies, and freight forwarders were yesterday put on alert over a seismic competitive threat after Amazon confirmed it is offering free international delivery to this nation. Our friend from CBS Bahamas, Brent Burrows II, told Tribune Business that now's the time for operators in these industries to develop a survival strategy after the world's largest online retailer and e-commerce marketplace confirmed that the free delivery on purchases on eligible products, and that's in quotation marks, worth $49 or more currently has no end date. The international free delivery is available on eligible products shipped to the Bahamas, all major islands. Wow. And part of orders worth $49 or more, according to Amazon. Not all items are eligible for free delivery promotion. Look for free delivery to the Bahamas when you spend over $49 on eligible items throughout your shopping journey. Oh, my. This is Amazon again. Once you have a cart with eligible items and exceed the threshold, you will see the free delivery promotion option at checkout. The promotion is part of our continuous effort to provide greater value to our customers worldwide, and we've not announced an end date to this promotion. So-called eligible products were not defined, but Burrows said Amazon's move is a wake-up call for Bahamian retailers couriers and freight forwarders to quickly assess and adjust their business models to remain competitive and differentiate themselves from global corporate giants, given that others will likely follow Amazon's lead. Interesting, lots of questions. How would that work? Where would these products go? Because if you're not going to bypass your U.S. address, they're going to end up at the dock. And, Okay. Anyway, let's get your reaction to all of this affecting costs for people. What do you say? Call us, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, toll free, 242-300-5720. Okay, a lot of your text messages from before. Let's get to these. These are choices, but if you choose less for yourself, then you will be classified as the poor. Is that where the Prime Minister is suggesting we'd be better suited? And then they just ended the text with Trump. I don't know where that Trump came in. What? Okay. Well, I mean, would you? I think Seattle made a great point. You could choose that or not, whatever, but you'd be living. I don't think that's how it works. Right? Because plenty of people in the middle class choose to send their children to public school. Yes, even in New Providence. Definitely in the Family Islands. So that's not necessarily what it means. Now, whether you have a snobby attitude towards it, that's on you. Okay. Dwight, no one wants to take care of 3 or more kids alone. And what about the outrageous prices of fast food and stores? Notice only Bahamians are being encouraged not to have kids, while foreigners are having 5 to 6 to 10 kids and prospering. Really? Where? Huh? And Bahamians and foreigners fight Bahamians, but foreigners help foreigners. The last part, I'm not sure what's going on there. But if you have a problem with the cost of food at restaurants, you probably shouldn't buy it. And that would persuade some folks that maybe something's wrong with our prices, no? But what we do here is keep buying it. And when the price goes up $1 next month, you keep buying more. So I don't know. I don't know if we're choosing to price ourselves into oblivion. This person says the Prime Minister is out to lunch and has no idea how much average Bahamians are struggling to survive. The cost of living is making it hard for families and businesses to survive. Instead of blaming us and our choices, why doesn't he make some choices to ease our burdens? I personally am working in the private sector, making above minimum wage, but I'm having to budget my money and switch to inferior goods to make it. I don't shop in the fancy grocery stores either. Tell the Prime Minister Bahamians are choosing which meals they will skip to survive another day. Oh, boy. Oh. This person says here, the Prime Minister's right. You Bahamians chose the party that increased VAT on medicine and breadbasket items, a direct hit at the poor. You voted for a party that did nothing to fix public transportation. Well, none of them have done that. Not one. Anyway, you take daily that bent backwards for FTX, but can't do FOIA, and you will not make people debate before voting for them. Yes, Prime Minister, we chose this. Well, you can't make people debate. I mean, what is this? Right? Do you want them to? I think we want them to, do we? Some of us don't seem to want it, but you can't make them debate. You couldn't make Trump debate, and look at that. Look where that got him. Boy, I tell you. Anyway, Dwight, I do agree it is a choice, so the Prime Minister should consider some of the choice that was made by the New Day government. This one says here, I wonder if these politicians would be as interested in politics if they had to give up their wealth to participate. I told you already, you need to mandate that they send their children to public school. Make them that. Make them do that. We'll see if they choose this life. Catch and Duet. I'm not going to read that part. $10 million, Chester Cooper paying blackmail money. No, I don't think that's what. No. Where is the receipt on what was spent? Where is the money for all of that? Why black? No, come on now. Seriously? Like Seattle said, plenty talk and no actionable plans included with less than 1 year to go before campaign season starts. This text says there, the Prime Minister is talking a lot. How about opening the numbers sector that the number boys decided to limit to shut everyone else out? No one remembers that and hails these men as heroes. Well, plenty of us remember. Plenty of us remember. This is supposed to be a fair competition market. You could open as many radio stations as you want, but nope, nobody else could get into the numbers market. Not one person, though. Anyway, free shipping, LOL. Wait till the air freight people, I guess to say, will charge you to collect it. It will be huge VAT and customs, and I'm sure they'll add a fee. I don't think it's going to go as simply as this is making it sound. This is a complicated place, so I'm not sure. This person says, I say bring it on, Amazon. Yay, that sounds great. That's a serious message to these selfish, greedy couriers and shops that overcharge Bahamians. To Prime Minister, Bahamians been in survival mode for years. Private schools are full of foreign kids. Hello. I don't know what that last part means. Okay. You will have to change your address. You'll have to change your address, U.S. address, to the Bahamas when you are on Amazon. According to the article and another news outlet, everything will be shipped through DHL, similar to what Starlink does. When you pay for Starlink duties and shipping is included, you just go to DHL to pick up. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to explore this some more in an upcoming show. This is going to be quite something. Wow. This person says here, based on the news, I'm not sure why the Prime Minister is concerned about where the roadside garages will go. This is the story about Engliston. It's just a matter of zoning. Certain facilities can't be in residential areas. It should not be permitted, especially in areas where there are wells that residents regularly use. The fluids constantly contaminate the water table in those areas, and we wonder why people are sick. Okay, and one more text here. Remove VAT from BPL and food and health services. It would help, it would up the middle class, you're saying. Okay. All right, so speaking of BPL, we told you in the news about the energy summit that's going on, and we heard the energy minister talking about some things that have been happening. I want you to listen to this report very, very carefully, folks. I think how many deadlines have gone since we were told that we'd get the details on the deal with Pike and Bahamas Grid, Island Grid, all the grids, everything. Yet a lot, as you know, has been happening around us. And we don't know anything about money, cost, price, bills. We don't know anything. What are these people working in good faith? What is going on? Take a listen to this report from our Vanik Toot.
Energy Minister JoBeth Kobe Davis is touting the strides made by Pike Corporation on the island of New Providence in the last 3 months as the government seeks to increase the reliability of electricity supply. During the opening ceremony of the ministry's Energy Summit, Kobe Davis said Pike crews have partnered with Bahamas Power and Light to perform over 1,000 hours of trouble work and responded to more than 50 power outages.
129 electric poles have been framed and set in the ground. About 40,000 feet of electric cable has been reconductored. 13 interrupters have been installed to reduce the chances of widespread outages, and 49 streetlight poles have either been replaced or newly installed.
She added Bahamas Grid Corporation is also launching a $100 million foundational upgrade project on the New Providence grid system.
As part of this initiative, you'll soon see Bahamas Grid Company and Pike crews, along with BPL, all over the island, adding and strengthening transmission lines and substations and protecting neighborhoods against voltage fluctuations on the eastern side of the island.
Power purchase agreements between Bahamas Power and Light and independent power producers for New Providence, Eco Energy, NT, and Compass are currently being finalized. Kobe Davis says over 200 acres of land has been set aside at Blue Hills Power Station, behind CV Bethel High School, Pinecrest Subdivision, and near the Coral Harbor Roundabout for solar arrays. Work to prepare the land will begin early next year. The Energy Minister also gave an update on BPL's Holiday Reconnection Program.
The Equity Rate Adjustment Initiative, or ERA,
which saw a reduction in the base tariff for residential consumers, continues to positively impact thousands of homes. The Merry and Bright Turn On Your Lights Holiday Reconnection campaign, which was implemented to assist disconnected residential customers, has so far benefited over 190 families. Our initiatives and projects will be launched in the coming months.
Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Vonnie Tude.
Okay, this is bizarre, folks. They're still finalizing the deals. We still don't know everything that's entailed. But Pike has been doing a lot of work all summer, and we will see more. We still don't know what's happening. We're in the dark. Pardon the pun. Let's get your reaction to that. What is happening here? 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. You can call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight, and morning to guests.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, I listened to this, what the Prime Minister have to say with respect to the cost of living, that survey that was done by the University of the Bahamas. Persons must understand, if we're the sixth most expensive place to live in the world, I mean, what else do we expect? And to be dismissive of this exercise, that shows you that he is totally out of touch with the Bahamian people, and he doesn't understand what is happening in the Bahamas more, not even from a global perspective. I think he just his whole concept, from what I see, is that only thing he's concerned about is jumping on another aircraft and fly to another destination. Wow. I think he have fly to more destination in 1 year than the average Bahamian would have done in a lifetime.
Yikes.
This is mind-boggling. And not only that he flies, but he flies with a huge contingent at the expense of the Bahamian people. And it appears if the Bahamian people don't have a problem because they don't react. They just call a talk show. Right now it's time for action. The Minister of Tourism said that he spent some $10 million trying to clean up situations with respect to tourism. And no one has made him account for that.
Counter bad press.
The press, listen, like you guys are the press. Don't let the Deputy Prime Minister get away with that. $10 million to do what? Huh? And you have people can't even afford a tin of corned beef more or less than 10 tuna. We got to get serious in this country, right?
Okay, I hear you. Thank you very much. I appreciate your call. Again, I tell you, a lot of you are misinterpreting what the Prime Minister meant. But yes, absolutely more can be done. They're acknowledging it, that they can do more. We will see if they can, right? But I don't think he was being dismissive. He's just saying there are plenty of people who will say that they are struggling, but they're making some bad choices, right? And the struggle, even though the cost of living is high, you're struggling because you made some really wacky decisions on top of problems that we have. I think that's what he was trying to say. And you know it's true. You know it's true. You know? But yes, unfortunate language, and perhaps it would have been best to say. I have the report. I haven't looked at it yet. Maybe this weekend. Something like that. Let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
Very good. Dwight, as the Bahamian people continue to suffer in this country, we should not allow these politicians just to come in the media to talk a good talk. And then when you look at how they walk and the way they respond to the Bahamian people. We are hurting in the Bahamas. And it seems as if these guys don't have no solution to our problem. The Bahamian people are hurting. And every day you hear the Prime Minister and those persons who work around him trying to talk to Bahamian people and give the people the impression that all is well, or continue to put them in office and all will be well in our country. That is not the case. We are hurting in this country, and unless we have a change in management and lifestyle, and the government can understand the plight of the Bahamian people, things ain't going to change in this country. All they want to do is be re-elected in this country, but they're not concerned about the interests of the average Bahamian in this country.
Okay.
Right? And as the media, you all need to get more. You all need to agitate more from these people.
Now, what does that mean?
Allow these politicians to come and just.
I don't know if you know what the media's role is.
I watch sometimes. Nobody to them. Nobody said, "Well, Mr. Deputy Prime Minister or Mr. Prime Minister, how would this work?
You're not right about that.
See the results from these things what you're talking about.
Okay.
Nobody questions.
No, that's not right, and you need to stop saying that. That's not right, and people are asking all the time. You're hearing this because the media asked this question. You all are to act. I mean, the media is not your warriors. The media presents you the information, and you decide what you're going to do, right? We get lots of crazy answers every day when we ask these questions. Lots of dismissive tactics and weird reactions. You all need to decide what you're going to do now. We're presenting the facts. What say you on it? So, don't blame the media. You do. You do what you got to do. Let's take another call. I want to get to these messages. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, hi, Dwight. How you doing?
Hi, good morning.
Speak to the Amazon.
Yeah, you understand it? What's going on?
No, the Amazon would be. It will happen, and what's happen is that you have this whole global competitive thing. It will take a show. Remember when he withdrew from WTO and the argument concerning for China the opportunities you missed? Like, say, for instance, if it costs you $2 to mail something from the U.S., it costs 60 cents to mail from China. It will cost 10 cents to mail from the Bahamas. All of these is dynamics of how global economy have shifted. But the most important thing for us as Bahamians, though, is that the government depends on revenue from the shipping and the other taxation that comes upon that. So this immediately will have an impact on the government revenue stream from the imports that we bring in, whether it be from individuals or from businesses now who would use Amazon services, because they even have a sub-services for wholesalers, et cetera, that goes through Amazon. And then you will have individuals who will now ship to Amazon and DHL that offer this international trading. Because if I have a business in the U.S. and I want to tap into the Bahamian market, I will shift my shipping to those companies, which could have a huge impact on our economy. And so, but Dwight, when you go for your show, we need to do the show on housing, which ties into access to capital to build whatever it is. And it ties into the digitization, segmentation, fractionalization, tokenization, and securitization of the new global economy that changed the dynamics of financial service and banking. And ending, Dwight, I didn't go to, what do you call it, school? Media school, right? But I know it's who is for the people. I know what and which is for the things. When is for the time. Where for the places. Why for the region. And most importantly is how for the details. That is what we don't get government to give us. The who, the what, the which, the when, the where, the why, and most importantly, the how. If we start demanding the how, we'll talk less because they'll have no answers for us.
Well, that's what's happening. They're asked all the time, and you never hear that, right?
Right, but that's what I'm saying. When they give these press release, you just simply go back to them and say, these is like, who's the wordsmith that wrote this? Because there's no substance included in these answers, and it's simply more talk around. It's like they're trying to cost you guys money in your production because you have to write so much with the words they say, and even though it holds nothing. That's
Okay.
what the problem is.
All right, thanks a lot. All right, let's read these messages before we go to the break. This person says that Jeff Bezos will and can make it happen, so don't underestimate Amazon. They have their own planes and drones and systems that they can implement. Remember, the Bahamas is always for sale. Oh, boy. So why say no to a company that wants to help us, and we spend billions with each year? Well, drones. Okay, well, that's going to be interesting. Well, we'll see. Hopefully we'll learn more. People saying that you will have to set up your own address with them directly. Okay. All right. This texter here says, oh boy. The PM, I'm editing your text. The PM is trying to say that you greedy peasants need to shut your fat mouths. What now? And accept living in poverty. We don't have the right to send our kids to private school. $10 billion should have been built for a new hospital for men and women and children, or low-cost homes for home. I don't know what's happening. It's gone completely south. Homeless Bahamians. We pay all the taxes and get no help. P.S. Maybe we send our kids to private school because the public school is overrun by illegal. It's just getting worse. Okay, I'm going to stop. Hey, I think we should take a break. Let's do that. And we'll be back with more Morning Blend in just a bit. Good Lord. Okay.
Doesn't mess about when it comes to product range and product knowledge.
If it's a new product come in the store, we walk the store and study that product.
One thing with our boss, if a new product comes in, he takes the time and he's always keeping us up to date with product knowledge. And we just had 9 weeks of different products that we had to study, and we had exams at the end of each product.
Yeah.
The only way we could sell the product effective, we have to know that product. Yeah, that helps us to relate to our customers. It gives us better knowledge to know what product to introduce to them. You understand? So we can know what product to give them to use and what product not to give them to use. So product knowledge is really key in Sherwin-Williams.
They got the keys. And the key is the product knowledge that comes with our extensive product range at Sherwin-Williams Paints, Bahamas. Find color in every day.
The joy of giving comes with rewarding you with cash prizes from our regional pot of over US $100,000. Simply apply for a personal loan, auto loan, land loan, or mortgage from CIBC Caribbean. Once approved, you may be entered for a chance to be one of 3 lucky winners in your country. Each winner will pull a card with a surprise cash prize of US $1,500, US $2,500, or US $5,000 cash. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/joyofgiving. CIBC Caribbean terms and conditions apply.
This holiday season, give the gift that lasts a lifetime. Financial freedom with CFAL. Whether you're looking to take the stress out of holiday giving or plan for the future, CFAL has you covered. With our suite of savings products, you can start with a minimal upfront investment and low monthly contributions. Get a jump start with 2025 financial goals with CFAL Savings Express, or give the little ones a head start with the CFAL Education Plan. You can also secure your own future with the CFAL Blue Marlin Retirement Plan. This holiday season, make your gift count with CFAL, where small savings lead to brighter futures. Visit CFAL.com today to start building wealth so you can live well. Happy holidays from all of us at CFAL.
This October, Dunkin' Donuts is brewing more than just coffee. We're brewing strength because we're stronger together. Donate at any Dunkin' location to support breast cancer awareness, and we'll match every dollar you give. Together, we're making a real difference for the Sister Breast Cancer Support Group. Sip, smile, support. When we stand together, we're stronger together because the Bahamas runs on Dunkin'.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
It's a Christmas wish for all of you. Get a no-fee loan from RBC, it's true.
No more wishing for your Christmas ideas to come true. Get a no-fee loan from RBC and make those ideas a reality.
It's a Christmas wish for all of you. Get a no-fee loan from RBC, it's true.
Finding the right loan for all of your Christmas ideas starts with a conversation. Visit a branch to speak with an advisor today. Offer ends December 31st.
It's time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams Paints. Here is what's happening. We've got the pressure gradient between Hurricane Rafael in the Caribbean, and we're going to tell you more about that in a second, in the Gulf of Mexico now, and persistent high pressure in the western Atlantic. That's going to support fresh to locally strong breezes across the country. Meanwhile, a trough near Puerto Rico will continue to move west and bring some unsettled weather over the southeast Bahamas beginning today. So small craft advisories in effect. Beachgoers are advised to exercise caution due to an elevated risk of rip currents and rough surf mainly along northern and eastern shorelines. So this area near the Leeward Islands, near Puerto Rico, the trough of low pressure over the northern Leeward Islands continues to produce disorganized showers and thunderstorms. Some gradual development of the system is possible in the next couple of days, and it has about a 20% chance of tropical cyclone formation. Regardless of development, locally heavy rains will be possible over the southeast Bahamas beginning today and will continue into the weekend. So get more on that in just a bit. So for today, we are looking at mostly sunny and breezy conditions over the northern, northwest, and central Bahamas, partly cloudy to cloudy and breezy and windy over the southeastern islands. For Saturday, partly sunny and breezy across the northwest and northern Bahamas, but partly cloudy to cloudy and breezy to windy over the central and southeastern islands as that system moves closer or moves over. And then Sunday, variably cloudy and breezy to windy over all areas with up to a 40 to 60 to 70% chance of showers and thunderstorms in the central and southeast Bahamas. And by Monday, the start of your work week, partly cloudy to a bit breezy, partly sunny and warm with occasional cloudy periods by Tuesday. So again, that area, that system is going to bring some heavy rain and wind to the southeast Bahamas over the next few days. With Rafael out in the Gulf, as of 5 o'clock, Rafael was about 245 miles north-northeast of Progreso, Mexico, about 585 miles east of the mouth of the Rio Grande. And so Rafael is moving towards the west near 9 miles per hour. A general westward to west-northwestward motion at a slower forward speed is expected through the weekend. On the forecast track, Rafael is expected to move over the central Gulf of Mexico for the next few days. It's going to be meandering out there for a bit. Rafael's a Category 3 hurricane, but some fluctuations in intensity are possible today. By tonight, a steady weakening trend is forecast, and it should continue into the weekend. That is your Morning Blend weather check, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams Paints. Sherwin-Williams Paints has got you covered for all your painting and equipment needs. Visit Sherwin-Williams Paints online or in-store today. And it's time for another check of your traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC. Find your loan solution with RBC. All right, so we've got some big news to tell you about. The float parade and T-shirt day for National Public Service Week. That is today. That's been rescheduled, and so it's today, and that is going to impact your traffic in the downtown, on West Bay Street, near Arawaki. In fact, we're seeing that now, heavy traffic in that area on West Bay Street. That float parade is supposed to start at 10 o'clock. This is an area you're going to want to avoid, folks. And Here is the route, as we know, starting at the Western Esplanade, heading east onto Bay Street to Mackey Street at the foot of the bridge, south on Mackey Street to Wolf Road, east on Wolf Road to the Roundabout and Marathon Road, south on Marathon Road to the junction at Marathon and Robinson, west on Robinson all the way to Blue Hill, north on Blue Hill to the National Insurance Board building, west to University Commons just after the National Insurance Board building to JFK Drive, and left on JFK Drive, heading west to the Six-Egger Roundabout, continuing west to Christie Avenue, a complete turnaround at the roundabout, and heading back to the Six-Egger Roundabout. And they're going to make their way back to Western Esplanade. So every part of New Providence is going to be impacted by this today, folks. So keep that in mind. If you don't need to go out today, you might not want to do that. And that's starting at 10 o'clock and is already causing serious issues on West Bay Street, from Saunders Beach all the way to Nassau Street. If you're not a part of that parade, avoid the area. And if you're on the parade, good luck and enjoy. All right, so elsewhere, not looking so bad on Mile Butler Highway, just about midway between Fire Trail and Tony Williams Darling Highway near Harold Pond. But the issue is at the Six-Egger Roundabout. Northbound, heavy traffic for you. Eastbound on JFK Drive and southbound on the Providence Highway. Elsewhere, we've got Tony Williams Darling Highway looking very busy, especially east of Bahamas Games Boulevard. East and westbound traffic heavy there. Independence Drive is backed up westbound, and Blue Hill Road looking busy for you from just south of Carmichael all the way up to that roundabout with Independence Drive. Elsewhere, we've got Eastern Road still looking busy for you westbound, and Soldier Road north of the intersection with Prince Charles and Robinson, heavy traffic for you northbound. It's going to be quite a day, folks. Good luck and have your patience. That's your real-time traffic and your Morning Blend traffic alert, brought to you by RBC. Start a conversation at rbc.com/loan/all of you.
Sleigh bells ring, are you listening? In the lane, snow is glistening, a beautiful sight. We're happy tonight, walking in a winter wonderland. Gone away is the bluebird, here to stay is a new bird. Sing a love song while we stroll along.
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. It's the Slay Your Holiday social media sales event. Here to tell us all about this, we are very pleased to welcome from Balencia Management, Krista Monroe. Good morning, Krista. Great to have you with us.
Good morning. It's nice to be here.
All right, so tell us about this Slay Your Holiday social media sales event. What are we looking at here?
Well, the event is to help business owners to improve their social media marketing to boost sales during the holidays. It's a great opportunity for small business owners, consultants, and all the entrepreneurs in the Caribbean and elsewhere.
Okay, so let's talk about it. Using social media. I think a lot of people do that already, but do we do it the right way?
Well, there's always room for improvement, especially when it comes to the new lines that's going now with AI. You know, we're talking about how to boost sales using AI, embracing your personal branding to promote your business or products, how to make your brand and content stand out, keys to building an online community that's obsessed with your brand, and working successfully with social media influencers.
Mm-hmm. All right, so what does it say about, we'll get back to specifics with the event, but what does it say about other forms of promoting your brand that we've used traditionally in the past? Is there a place still for them, or do you need to use social in conjunction with them?
I think you need to use social media in conjunction with the traditional brands that we normally use.
Yeah. Is there any benefit or drawbacks to only using social media?
Well, the drawback is a lot of people, the older generation, they're not too familiar with social media. So that's where the traditional brand comes in. But for the younger folks, the new generation, the millennials, everyone is basically using social media. And to get your voice heard to these persons, it's easier to use social media.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so if you're only targeting young people, is it okay then? Or do you still need to diversify?
If your target market is young people, it is easier to use social media. But you have some young persons, such as myself, who use both avenues.
Okay. You sound like a wise woman. Okay. So let's talk about how this is going to work. This is for November 9th. That's tomorrow. Tell us the structure of the event.
Well, we have a good lineup. We have Jaquay and Sania, who's going to be talking about, digital marketing, how to blend in using the influencers. We have Simone Bo and Valdez, who's going to also talk about strategies to use to boost your sales, boost your online communities, how to use AIs, and etc. Then we have Maya Nodich, who's a moderator. She's phenomenal in the field of public relations, communications, social media marketing. She's just awesome.
Yeah, shout out to Miami. Who should attend this? Who needs to be there tomorrow?
Well, business owners, sales managers, marketing professionals, anyone that does sales, entrepreneurs, anyone who wants to know more about social media marketing should attend this event.
Mm-hmm. All right, so tell us where exactly when, and how much it's going to cost them.
Well, the venue is Crypto Isle on East Bay Street. The amount is $100. You can pay at the door. You can register online. We have a link that you can go to, either my page, Blanche Management, or you can contact me at 819-9801 to get more information.
Okay, give us that address again and the number.
Blanche Management Services on LinkedIn, and the number is 819-9801.
Okay, how many people can you accommodate?
We can accommodate up to, I think, 100 persons in the venue.
Okay, all right, great. Is it too late? Is it the right time now to start your social media marketing campaigns for this holiday season, or what are you saying to folks now?
It's never too late, Dwight.
Okay.
This is the right time right now. Get on it.
Mm-hmm. And do you have to be? I mean, I guess that's why you need to come to this event, right? If you're not an influencer, can you do this on your own?
Yes, you can. Once you have the tools, this is why we're doing this seminar, to get the tools to know how to be social media savvy and to bring in and boost your sales.
Yeah. And this is a whole other show. But do influencers really work here in the Bahamas?
Yes, they do.
Yeah?
They really do.
We have evidence to support this? I'm just asking. I'm not saying they don't. That's a whole other show, right? Yeah, okay. One more time, Krista Monroe, tell us about Slay Your Holiday social media sales event tomorrow, what people need to know.
Well, come with an open mind, and trust me, you won't want to miss this event. It's going to help you boost all of your sales, your social media platform. You're going to know how to brand yourself, not just your company, but also yourself, because it's important to know that you are your brand. So it's not just about pushing your brand or your product. It's also about health. So this event will help you with all of that.
Mm-hmm. And one more time, the time, location, and the cost.
The location is Crypto Isle. The cost is $100, and the time is from 9 to 1.
Okay, sounds great. And you're serving refreshments as well, I see, on your page. Because the people need that, apparently. Krista Monroe, it's been great talking with you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so slay your holiday social media sales event tomorrow at Crypto Isle, 9 o'clock. Got to be there. All right, we're going to break for news and be back with Morning Blend Business. Trump is back. What does that mean for security in the region? That's what we're talking about. Stay tuned for that. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
But you can do the job when you're in town. Later on, we'll conspire as we dream by the fire to face unafraid the plans that walking in a winter wonderland.
Is calling all the Heyman musicians. We're launching the Street Musician Program to bring vibrant live performances to downtown Nassau. If you play unplugged instruments like acoustic guitar, saxophone, or violin, we're looking for 15 musicians to join this exciting initiative. No professional experience needed. Just submit a 90-second performance video by November 8th. Visit bahamas.com/pilot street musician and sign up today.
Are you looking to save for a big purchase or occasion? Do you want your money to start making money for you? Well, let me introduce myself. My name is Bond, the Bahamas Government Savings Bond. I am guaranteed to earn interest on your money with terms ranging from 1 to 6 years. Government savings bonds are available to all Bahamians, and for as little as $100, you can start to save for your future. The Bahamas Government Saving Bond, a safe investment guaranteed. Check out the Central Bank of the Bahamas website for details.
At Wendy's, we are different. We don't just use beef. It's fresh, never frozen. Our burgers are square because we never cut corners. Served hot off the grill with fresh lettuce, tomatoes, onions, and American cheese. We believe in fast food done right. Always serving fresh, never frozen beef. Order a hot, juicy Dave single, double, or triple. Made with fresh, never frozen beef. Now only at Wendy's. Different inside and out.
Are you seeking exceptional health care beyond the traditional hospital setting? Introducing Doctors Hospital Clinics, your trusted destination for comprehensive. Our full-service locations provide affordable services through our Loyalty Advantage membership program and NHI. Experience seamless care with our integrated health system, where your medical history travels with you, ensuring continuity of care. Book an appointment today at clinics.doctorshosp.com. We make primary care easy.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
The views and opinions of the host and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Friday, November 8th, 2024. Welcome back to Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan, and it was like a horror movie for some, November 5th of this year. He just won't go away. He keeps coming back like Myers or Jason. Donald Trump, back. You'd think after January 6th or the felony convictions or grab him by the whatevers, that would be enough. But no, he keeps coming back. And now the question remains all over the world, what will this mean for security especially here in the Safe and Sound series today. We're very pleased to have with us from Preventative Measures Gamal Nuri. I know you didn't sanction the music choices there, but that's how many people feel. How are you, sir? Good to have you with us, as always.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Bahamas. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's always great to be talking with you. All right, so earlier in the show, we read the countries all over the world reevaluating what the plan is over the next 4 years after dealing with Donald Trump in his previous stint as president of the United States, and people wondering what will the next 4 years be like because of positions that Trump held previously. So let's talk about it. What does this mean for security in the region? And we're talking about a lot of different things here as well. Your short answer, delve deeper into it. Will this mean significant change, or are people blowing it, including myself, out of proportion?
Dwight, I think with Trump's policy, his view moving forward, it's clear in his agenda, in his what is his campaign slogan, America First. And that was a clear indication during his 2017 run as president. He prioritized American interests around the world. And I don't see any reason why he would not do the same thing, even more so with us here in the Caribbean, including the Bahamas. That's my short answer.
Okay.
I don't see why he would not put America first. All of its priorities, and certainly security would be in the top three as a priority for the United States. So America first, that is his policy, and we will see that ripple effect throughout the Caribbean as we move forward.
Okay, all right. So the Bahamas and the U.S. and the Caribbean in general, and in terms of security and what this means to the U.S. As allies, which we are, but going forward, especially when you hear the tough talk on clamping down on illegal migration, what does this mean for us and the region?
Well, certainly, the Bahamas is a very, I guess, as some of us would say, we're very blessed, or we consider ourselves very blessed. Certainly from a geographical standpoint, we are very blessed in the proximity, and that could be a blessing and a curse depending on who's waving the stick for us. Our proximity to the United States demands that the United States keeps the Bahamas in particular and the rest of the Caribbean a stable environment. Because if we see signs of instability going across the Caribbean, then that threatens the United States stability, because we're right at the sort of, and again, stability speaks to is really again perception. Your political or your values. We saw that with Cuba when Cuba allowed the Russians to come into Cuba in the 1980s. Earlier, not in the 1960s, and set up a missile base. And notwithstanding, that is a policy that the Americans have done throughout the world, especially in Europe. Immediately, the United States was prepared to go to war, but the fact that the Cubans had set up a missile base, the Russians had set up a missile base in Cuba. There's something called the Monroe Accord, where the United States has a policy that does not allow for any foreign entity to set up those types of bases within certain proximities to this border. So a stable Caribbean, a secure Caribbean, a Caribbean that still maintains or with reasonable ethics or morals that are aligned with the American way of life or the American view, that is something that the Americans will definitely attempt, or continue rather, to show or to demonstrate for us that that's where they would like us to go. And we see that when we have relationships with other entities like China, like the Cubans, there's always a commentary or something coming forward about that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, especially when we talk about immigration, what do we what do we think specifically that's going to look like? Already lots of talk about not, which he was saying before when he was president, not granting citizenship automatically to people born in the country and cracking down on illegal migrants and the widest, largest deportation expected in ever within months of coming to office. Does that mean in terms of security for countries like the Bahamas and others?
Yeah, good point, Dwight. Personally, I don't have an issue with the not granting immediate citizenship to persons just because of being born in that jurisdiction.
I actually think we should adopt that here.
Yeah. I think that it has something that has been abused and manipulated by individuals who would go into the U.S. and you would see that they would maybe stay for a few months and then they would get that citizenship. I don't necessarily have an issue with that if you see where it's being manipulated and abused. I don't necessarily have an issue with that. But what I do see is again, this is not a new policy for Trump. We would have seen during his previous administration where there was an increase in deportation of nationals back to their home country, especially after, even more so when they would have committed crimes. But even if there was a stronger approach to deportation of persons who would have stayed longer. So that's not a new policy. I think what happened is that under the Biden administration, we have seen where that type of policy has sort of been relaxed. And there's been a sort of reverse on that policy. And mind you, it's only been 4 years. So when we see this, when I hear this concern, I'm like, well, just over 4 years ago when Trump was the president, this is what he was doing in any event. So he's not saying anything new. Right. It's just now we've become acclimated to a Biden perspective where they have relaxed the deportation rules and they have opened up the borders, and now you have someone who's going to revert back to what was always the case in any event. Mm-hmm. So I think it's being a bit overhyped in that regard. Now, the challenge then too for us here in the Caribbean is that when these individuals are sent back, they would have already been culturalized to American-style criminality, and they would still maintain their networks in the United States for access to drugs, for access to firearms. So we really have to manage if persons are deported, reasons that they're being deported, what type of crimes that they would have committed in the Americas, in the United States, and our security forces, our police, our security forces need to continue to monitor those individuals and ensure that they don't bring that lifestyle or that way, that culture that they would have entrenched themselves in, bring that back home into our borders. So that is a bigger concern. Who's being deported? Why were they deported? And how do we ensure that they don't maintain or continue that network of criminality back into our jurisdiction?
Wow. I'm just curious. American-style criminality, is that worse than the criminality we see here in the Bahamas?
I think when I say American-style, it's more organized. The networks are much more entrenched. You have more nationalities involved. Where in the Bahamas, the nationality is, or the network is a bit is not as extensive. Certainly in the Americas, in the United States, you can have an operation in, let's say, in Florida, and that can have networks reaching as far as Toronto, as far as California. And so that style, meaning the network, the resource availability, essentially, from a criminality perspective. Mm-hmm. Their connection, their resources are much wider. Their network is bigger. They're dealing with more nationalities. So when we're managing a certain group, and we have someone coming, let's say, out of Europe or out of North America, we're not as exposed to that type of activity. So that's what, when I say that, that's what I mean.
Okay, all right. So let's talk about other crime, drugs and human trafficking and gun trafficking. We know that's a big problem for us. What likely changes are we going to see, or can we expect in regards to our crime fighting strategies as a result of this?
Well, again, we have to do. Let's do a compare what was going on for the last 4 years. Again, the resource availability, the assistance that was provided still exists. We have what is called the Caribbean Basin Security Initiative, which is a regional initiative that was started, I think, back in the 80s with Ronald Reagan. And this is something that has been ongoing, where the Americans would put resources, whether it's manpower, physical assets, technology, financing to various law enforcement agencies. I think that would be increased again, and not necessarily for the stability, not necessarily for the country per se, but with the residual effect of it improving and ensuring that America's borders are secure. So like I said initially, a stable Caribbean definitely ensures a stable United States. This is important. Where we run from the Bahamas, and I'll go as far north as Bermuda. I don't want to leave Bermuda out. I'll go as far north as Bermuda, all the way down to Trinidad and Belize of South America. The Americans would want to ensure that southeastern border is a very secure and stable grouping. And so they will definitely continue to provide assistance. And I think we'll ramp it up a bit as it was pulled back under the Biden administration. For those of us in law enforcement, and I'm sure I may get a challenge here and there, but law enforcement here, we would agree for the most part that under our Republican administration, there's a stronger move towards securing as opposed to the Democrats. And we saw that with Biden. We saw that with Biden when as the Biden administration, there was a pullback of sort from resources for initiatives. And under Republican administrations, not just with Donald Trump, but Ronald Reagan, the Bush eras, you would have seen a different approach to how the southeastern border been secured and the initiatives deployed into this region.
Oh, wow. All right. So what does that mean for drugs specifically? I mean, we were looking at on Election Day, that was a ballot measure in Florida to push for recreational marijuana use beyond medicinal, which they do now. That failed. It didn't meet the 60% required on the referendum. But I think people were expecting that things would loosen up in terms of at least with marijuana. But with drugs now, are we expecting, as you say, the tightening of the measures against illicit trafficking of narcotics, or what will this look like, especially with so many states in flux or changing their policies?
Right. Again, Dwight, I think we have to be careful when we look at the term of, I guess, legalization or decriminalization of marijuana or controlled substances of that nature. It doesn't mean that they're not illegal. It means that the controls have been and so even if, let's say, in the Bahamas, that's something that's been tabled, that's being discussed, it doesn't mean that marijuana is not an illegal substance or a controlled substance. It means that now for medicinal, or perhaps like we saw, I think a few months ago, we saw where they were allowing the Rastafarians to have access for their sacrament. So it's still controlled. So the average person on the street still can, and this is the same thing in the US. You can only have a certain quantity. You can go into a store, a marijuana store per se, and you can purchase over the counter, but you only can purchase a certain amount. So it's still a controlled substance, like any narcotic. Okay, so it's still controlled. So when we just having that discussion is in the same vein with the illegal importation, it's two different discussions in my opinion. Okay, it's two different discussions, because one is a criminal intent, where I'm attempting to move a controlled substance beyond the quantity that I can have into a jurisdiction that still has its controls. And I think it's important too that Bahamians see what the response was as well, because I think we're sold this, everyone is now accepting marijuana at minimum, but we see that in the United States, but when they had it on the ballot, that a lot of states still refuse to have it legalized, even though it's moving, but it's not moving as fast as some would have us to believe.
Yeah. Wow.
So the discussion, so it's two different discussions as it pertains to, having legal access for medicinal, religious purposes, or recreational purposes, as they would say, and you're still restricted to a certain quantity. as opposed to now me coming in, as we would say, coming in with a load, right? Coming in with a load on my go fast at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's a different discussion altogether.
Oh, wow.
Different
Okay.
discussion.
All right.
Yeah.
We're talking with Gamal Nuri with Preventative Measures. And we got a text message for you. This person says here, ask your guest if I, a Bahamian to the U.S. with fake documents, then moved to China, committed a crime, and was deported, should they send me back to the U.S. or the Bahamas? Oh, boy.
Yeah, that depends on who's asking. Don't forget, you said, they said, I illegally migrated.
Mm-hmm.
I have fraudulent documents. So really the crimes, from what it sounds like, the crimes were not committed against the Bahamas. The crimes were committed, based on that question, the crimes were committed against the United States. And then, of course, the deportation or extradition agreements between the two countries will have to come into play. How much do they want you? Are you just an average? And let me take that word out. Are you a known criminal? Are you someone who's having a criminal enterprise and that's impacted the United States? Or
well, they also mentioned China. They also mentioned China. They migrated there illegally, and then they moved to China and committed a crime.
But they moved to China and committed a crime as well? Well, the Chinese have first dibs.
I don't think they're getting deported. You're going to spend the rest of your life in China in jail.
The Chinese,
so,
exactly.
You know.
The Chinese have first dibs on you.
I hope you know Mandarin, Texter, because you're going to be there for a long time. So, boy, don't do that. Don't do any of those things. Right. All right. You can call in, folks. We have a lot to talk about with Gamal Nuri, but you can call in 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, toll free 242-300-5720. This person, I want to read this text for you, Gamal. Where did it go? It says that we are hilarious. There's, I guess, they probably mean me. I really want to get this right. I got to find it. Anyway, I'll find it. But they're like, we don't have anything to be concerned about. I'll find it and read it in its entirety for you. But this other one says, security will be fine in the Caribbean region. In fact, it will be further enhanced. Don't be surprised to see Bahamians you may know or don't know who have American accents are back in the Bahamas, and you wonder why so many of them are here. They overstayed their visas in the U.S. or are illegal immigrants who have been kicked out of the U.S. and sent back to the Bahamas. You talked about that earlier, and the concerns there. Yeah. All right. Let's take one call, and then we want to get back to what we're talking about. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, caller, on your guest. Dwight, and do you think, remember Trump first term? Traveling to the United States was scary. Now this Trump 2.0, because he emboldened now the police officers and customs to be hard. We have to learn to be obedient, don't question. Students who go into school over there, the police stop you, you got to, yes sir, no sir. Have your documents? Because I think it's gonna be worse this term, because he emboldened the law enforcement to be extra tough on foreigners, especially. I remember his first term. Driving in the States was scary.
I don't
because the officers thought they could have you do what they wanted to do with you. You a foreigner, put you on the ground.
I don't think that's correct. Oh, no. Okay. Here's the text, Gamal. You all are hilarious. Only sex traffickers, illegals, alphabet people, I don't know what that means, and Satanists need to be worried and shaking in their boots. We will all be fine as long as he sends the illegals back to their home and not the Bahamas. Well, plenty of Bahamians over there, as the texter said, have overstayed their welcome or their visas, their time that they're supposed to be there. Plenty. So let's not be foolish about that. By the way, our passports have been compromised. What now? Okay, let's just stop. But yeah. Oh, boy. Okay. So there's also beyond the region concerns about, as we were talking about earlier, the cost of living here. And he's had always a lot of tough talk with China. And we know we had a trade war with China before. It's loosened a bit with the Biden administration, but is it likely that this will be the direction things go again? And what will that mean to us here in the Bahamas?
Well, certainly when it comes to trade, when it comes to importation, exportation, and I go back to my initial point, America first. So where there can be controls or agreements where the economic advantage being given to the Americans, certainly that will be put. I'm to a point that was brought up by the caller. When we go back, we have the good thing is, unlike and it's important again. I mean, we have to look at these things, right? Unlike any other president, right? We have an opportunity to look back and see what he did. This is a unique situation, and mind you, we do have presidents who would have done 2 terms, right? But 2 consecutive terms. So now we have someone who we can go back. We saw what happened under Biden. We saw what happened under Trump. I don't see any major diversion. I see reverting back to what was some of the policies that were done. Biden came in and under Trump, Trump removed himself from certain agreements, the Paris Accord, for example, as it pertains to climate change. He removed himself from the North American Security Group. And I mean, Biden came in and put America back in those areas. So I see where we may see a back and forth now, where he removes himself again, and still has the influence. And see, this is important. Where the Americans still have influence. They don't necessarily need to be a part of these bilateral or international groups, because they have that influence within the world. And I think because of where he sits now, especially with this overwhelming Republican government, I see immediate reversion back to some of the policies, and certainly a fast tracking of some of the things that he would have wanted to have done in his first administration. And I'm speaking again from not just security, but economic, cultural issues, all of those things. I see a fast tracking of those things because of the strong Republican presence now in the American government.
Yeah. I'm very curious. I know that you are a part of the, what's the correct name? Immediately I want to say gun-loving society, but that's not what you are called. What do you call? I'm sorry. What's the proper name? What's the name of your organization again?
Bahamas National Firearms Association.
There you go. So Mexico and the Bahamas is I can't remember the legal term they're using, but we are pursuing taking legal action against the gun manufacturers for all the gun violence in this country. Exactly what we're doing there. Where does that look? Where does that stand at this point? Is this like gonna be thrown out? You think with this, with, as you say, Republicans widely opposed, in support of keeping right to bear arms at the forefront of everything they do in the U.S. Where do you think that goes?
What you're asking is, do I think if government influences the judiciary, if the executive influences the judiciary? That's what you're asking me, Dwight? Because that's a tricky question.
Oh dear, what is that? How that sounded? Oh no.
That's how that sounded.
Yeah. Okay. But I mean, do you think
I think it'll play out in the courts. That's all I can say. Now, how that's influenced behind closed doors or however, that I think that'll play out in the courts. I'll be honest with you. This is not the Federation speaking, the Firearms Association speaking, right? I think it's a lame argument, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
going after the manufacturers.
Oh yeah, I think that we need to put the controls in place as it pertains to how we manage firearms getting into this country. We can't blame. We shouldn't. I mean, that's person's perspectives, and we shouldn't go after someone who's making a device, and I'm saying a device, a mechanism that can be used for safety if it's in the right hands to protect, to defend people's individual rights and national rights. And now because some other individual got it illegally and decided to use it for crime, I think that's a very poor or lame approach to addressing some of your inadequacies.
Yeah.
Because you're still, the very same device that you want to go after the manufacturers. Your officers, your military and your law enforcement officers are still using them.
Yeah.
If you're serious about it, then disarm your police force, disarm your military, and send the guns back and ask for a refund. But don't sue the entities who got a firearm illegally and is using it in the wrong way. That doesn't make any sense to me. But that's Kamal's opinion.
Yeah.
That's Kamal's opinion.
Hey, I'm not a gun supporter, but I agree with you entirely on that. That doesn't make sense to me because with that argument, people are going to be trying to sue the manufacturers of the little hatchbacks that are terrorizing the streets of New Providence.
There you go. Exactly.
Makes little sense. Sense. All right, we got a lot to talk about, including China and Cuba, bringing it back to the region. But let's take some of these calls. The lines are all lit up. Let's see what folks are saying here. Folks, we are talking with Gamal Nuri with Preventative Measures, talking about what a Trump return will mean for security in the region and the world. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Strachan.
Good morning.
And good morning to Mr. Gamal Nuri.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, thank you for your sincerity, Kamal. And, as it relates to the other call, I think it was Andrew or Robert, right? He called. He's always overdoing it with Trump, right? I've been in America for a while, and so there is racial profiling, but sometimes when they hear that you're a Bahamian, but I don't have a problem with Kamal owning a gun, because he sounds like he's a decent fella, but I can say the same thing that us in denial, and I'd like for Kamal to comment on my final words, right? I can say the same thing about all of our governments respectively being weak and allowing unabated migration from all nationalities, right? You see the Chinese, where they're in positions with a liquor store every 300 feet in the inner city, but they don't juxtapose alcohol compounding facts with marijuana and syrup and whatever the young fellas drinking, lean and whatever they're doing, right, with violence. So, we're fighting a losing battle. Then, from your report a couple of months ago, or the early part of the year, they said that the police were not policing the shanty towns. And so, why haven't these very, very non-clairvoyant leaders juxtaposed firearms, drugs, human trafficking, and migration? Why haven't they interfaced for them together? So obviously, they have no vision because these things go on and on. People don't have principles when it comes to making money, Not even, as we see the level of corruption in our country. This is why we're not getting anywhere, and it relates to Robert, right? When he's talking about Trump saying makes America great again. Why can't, sometimes maybe the white supremacists have hijacked that narrative, but that make America great again is multifaceted. It's not just limited to it's also about increasing American manufacturing and oil production and more self-sufficiency in their economy. So to stop the fear-mongering about what's going to happen, maybe she set an example for us on our immigration policies, because I like for Kamal to comment on what is the state of our national security that I say is non-existent because of the level of corruption. Hey, I have people in Angleston now, if they give you a testimony of what's going on, you wouldn't believe it. All right? I live in the city, man. Angleston is mostly 80% Haitian.
Okay. Wow. Kamal Nuri, what do you say to that?
Definitely there is, an interconnectivity between how crime, what goes on here in regards to crime. We cannot separate the fact that if I'm smuggling humans, then the same routes, perhaps even some of the same resources and individuals are moving firearms and drugs at the same time. So certainly we cannot separate it. I don't think our law enforcement agencies separate them either, because we have that type of remit where when you go in, you're looking for all of those different elements. So from whether it's immigration violation to whether it's violations with drugs, firearms, things of that sort. Certainly, we think we see that there are some challenges, and how the government is moving forward with it. I don't think there's a separation per se. We may see different aspects of it, but I don't think there's a separation on how it's approached, because we in law enforcement and security, you cannot deny the interconnectivity of these particular offenses. Mm-hmm. And like I said, the same resources, whether it's that boat that's bringing in the humans versus the boat that's bringing in the firearms or the drugs. Most likely it's the same individuals who are piloting or navigating those boats and on the same routes. When we speak about corruption, we have to be real as well, that corruption obviously exists because these things are happening, and someone somewhere, I can't say where, is looking the other way and facilitating these initiatives to occur. It has to be. I mean, let's be reasonable in the approach.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, callers, we'll get back to you in a second. Just want to touch on Cuba, and then we'll get back to China. So we know there was a UN resolution, and the U.S. and I believe it was Israel. Was it Israel? Were the only two people who opposed this, but calling for the blockade, Cuba, to be resolved once and for all. Most of the world believe this is just unbelievably unfair. And not really budging much under the Biden administration. What do we think is going to happen with Trump and Cuba now?
I don't see much of a forward movement. I think there was some initiative moving forward with under Barack Obama, President Obama.
Yeah.
There was some relaxing of the policy, but when Trump came in his administration, his initial administration, we saw it was pulled back. Biden didn't do much with it, and I don't see it getting much better for Cuba in that regard, in my opinion. And it is unfortunate, and it is unfortunate that we have this approach to a nation in our jurisdiction, in our region. I don't know. I mean, if it's still being punished for things that were done under Castro. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, you know. And I would go and say a double standard, because if you're talking about policy, if you're talking about politics and government, I mean, we're still not we, but the U.S. still has relatively good relations with Russia. Notwithstanding the Ukraine war that's going on with the embargoes and the restrictions there, but Russia and China, which have similar governing styles. So it's interesting and it's unfortunate, you know, that's how it's playing out for Cuba over the last almost 80 years now or more. You know, since the revolution, the Cuban Revolution, that was back in the late 50s, 58, 59. You know, you're probably better at math than me, but I mean, that's at least 74, 70, almost 80 years later.
It's a long time. It's a long time.
Yeah.
And many of the people today don't know anything about why this is happening.
Exactly. And you know, if you go back and you read, and that's why history is so important, so we can see that, you know, the rationale behind a lot of these policies and positions that are presented from both sides are very personal and are very simple. And you would think that, you know, all right, guys, you know, kiss and make up so we can move on. But, you know, 70, 80 years later, you know, something's wrong with that. But, you know, that's how it is.
All right, we've got a lot of text messages. We want to get to China as well. Let's take this call, though. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Mr. Newey. Hey, Dwight, in 2025, we're suing the utensils company because those spoons and forks are making us fat, and they're now using knives and stuff for stabbing. but Dwight, just let me say.
I mean, you might be onto something, you know. I mean, I bet you back in the day people used smaller spoons, and the big spoons are causing you to take more food in.
And smaller plates.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens
Exactly.
is this. Now, I agree with Newey on his America First policy, but I think it's too early for us to make a determination. And I can tell you, though, that it wasn't the America First policy, but it was actually the budget cut that reduced funding to like development aid and security cooperation that affected the region during Trump last term. So the question is going to be, is he going to have the same type of attitude towards the funding of those different things? But I just wanted to answer this immigration problem. When people talk about the return of Bahamians or people to the Bahamas, non-Bahamians to the Bahamas, it's because we have an agreement, I think it's bilateral, where if the country for which those individuals may be citizens refuses to accept them, they then would ship them back to the place of embarkment. So those individuals, whether they be from Haiti, Jamaica, if they left the Bahamas to enter into the U.S. and their countries would not accept them or the time runs on them, then the Bahamas will accept them because this is where they embark from. So that's where our problem is. We just need to have a conversation on immigration reform and a national ID system. Because just think about this. The minister just talked about some citizens that you need to be citizens of ID. So if we have identification that identifies who you are as a national ID system. You don't have to start giving away citizenship so a person could open up a bank account. Thank you so much.
Okay, interesting. Wow. And there's a text about that as well. They're saying we're dodging the question. Should illegal Haitians be deported to the Bahamas or to Haiti from the U.S. once Trump starts deporting them? They have, Well, I mean, if these folks were born in the Bahamas, it's going to be an interesting argument and discussion there. But again, right, we made our Constitution and not have this path to citizenship just because you were born here. We need to have the discussion at least.
Right, and don't forget, right, like I said, I'm not against, just for clarity, if an individual is born in the Bahamas, let me speak to my challenges with our policy towards Haitians, right? If a Haitian, a person of Haitian descent, rather, is born in the Bahamas and they grew up in the Bahamas, I think it's a no-brainer that you should make them a citizen, right? My concern, and I think the challenge that's happening in the U.S. is that individuals would move to the U.S. Within term, before they come to term with their pregnancy, 6 months out, maybe a year out for whatever the reason, and then use that as an opportunity to have that child get U.S. citizenship and then move back to their home country. So I think, again, it's two different discussions. I agree, and that should be monitored because it's an abuse, it's a manipulation. But if a person of Haitian descent, born and raised in the Bahamas, they only can apply it at 18 now, I think that's absolutely ridiculous. That makes no sense to me.
Okay.
Because they're Bahamian. It's Bahamian is not just a piece of paper, it's a cultural thing as well. And so if the only thing I know is the Bahamas, and I am a Bahamian, from a cultural perspective. So now you have to make it legal. And then with that argument, I say that everybody then becomes a paper Bahamian. Because the only way you can prove your citizenship is to present a paper. I don't care how long your people, or let's say my navel string is buried, three generations back.
Right.
The only way you can prove that is if you present a document.
Yep.
So let's balance it out. If I'm of Haitian descent and I'm born here, maybe my parents came illegally, maybe my grandparents came illegally, right? But the only thing I know is the Bahamas. Why are we wasting time and wasting these people's lives, and we're creating a subculture that's disenfranchised against the Bahamas for no reason other than then you won't give me or accept me into the fold. It makes no sense to me, and that from that perspective.
Yeah. Very interesting discussions need to be had, indeed. Okay, and with has been trying to gain the influence of, push its influence on other countries in various means. What will happen now? Do you anticipate that the U.S. will try to reassert dominance, or paint a picture? What do you think is going to be the case over the next 4 years?
I think the Chinese have done what they intended to do. They have already infiltrated. They're in these various countries and they've put investments in, physical investments. A lot of countries have signed on to agreements, payment agreements that have put them in a corner. I think that there is very little, in my opinion, there's very little that can be done with that at this stage. And we understand why. It's not just for the development of that country, but again, and I refer you back to the Monroe Doctrine. This is something that goes back as far as 1823, right? Where the Americans have a position in regards to foreign entities having such close proximity to the United States. Now, what's funny, but we see the double standard. There's no challenge to these types of things happening in Canada. There's no challenge to these types of things happening in Mexico, right? But because of the Caribbean and our smaller footprint, and again, who's waving the stick? There's a bit more pressure placed on these jurisdictions on how we relate to the Chinas, the Cubans, to the Russians. There's a stick waving type thing, and I understand it because our economic footprint, not just our geographical footprint, is again not as big. So losing the Caribbean from an economical standpoint is not such a big thing. However, it now impacts security because who we're losing that economical influence to. So the two go hand in hand. And what the Chinese are doing is, in my opinion, is that they are using that economic influence, and the Americans see it as a security threat. Because it isn't about development per se. It's about, hey, why are you putting these types of investment? Because it becomes an asset. And an asset suggests I need security of some type to maintain that asset.
Wow. Okay. Let's take this call really quickly. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Morning, Dwight. Good morning, Jamal. Conversation again this morning is very interesting. Jamal, let me just touch on the matter of our Constitution for a second here. And you are absolutely correct. To have someone here in the country parents who came to this country illegally, which is actually a crime on our books, but they are allowed to remain here for 18 years, then to apply on their 18th birthday for citizenship when they would have already become accustomed to our culture and everything. That's ludicrous. I mean, basically, we keep on missing the white elephant in the room, and that is to have the Constitution really fixed, where the will and the wishes of the people are actually listened to. And the average Bahamian wants the Constitution fixed, whereas to eliminate that process. But the hard work to be put into it is not willingly done by the politicians we have in our parliament. This matter can be fixed overnight, but they keep on prolonging the situation. So I just wanted to bring that to light. This is an easy fix, but they don't want to fix it. The second part is you talk about the crime in the country.
Well,
we're talking
about Trump and what security, what the place will look like in 4 years. Trump.
Yeah, well, we look at the many aspects of crime here on the ground, and I often wonder the severity of each individual crime that we see it on the ground from an international standpoint. We talk about money laundering, we talk about gun trafficking, we talk about human trafficking, we talk about these things. But what is the actual statistic in this country where it really impacts our country, both really on a negative scale? How widespread is it in our community, and who is actually pushing and promoting these various things? C. Allen often says, when we come about with a nationalized program where we could give IDs to really identify these persons, I think then the process becomes a lot easier to identify and eliminate the problem, if not from the source, but cut it off to a point where the source does not have a greater access here into the country to continue to promote the levels of crimes that we see here, that other persons from overseas bring into the country because that's where they pick it up from. But thanks for taking my call.
Thanks a lot. Okay. Gamal, we got about 30 seconds left. This person says here, you all are messing it. It's not just Haitians, and it's also straight up Bahamians who are illegally in the U.S. So we keep saying that, so we are not missing the point. The USA is going to deport all of these to the Bahamas. There's a crazy situation where USA sends anyone whose last place of origin was the Bahamas. So it could be Hondurans, Dominicans, or whatever. This is a big problem, and the needs to stop. What? Okay.
Stop what is correct.
Okay. Sure. A lot of people saying the Constitution doesn't need fixing. The government can do something about this today and revoke citizenship for anybody found illegally residing here. But again, you made a great point, right? If you've been here, this is the country the only country you've known all those years. What are you to do? But if you did fix the Constitution where people would know there is no path guaranteed, you might not want to stop here to have your children, right? Because it would serve no purpose, perhaps. But again, it's a conversation that needs to be had. So again, Gamal, your summary, 4 years, is it going to be a horror movie or not as bad as people are making out to be?
Certainly not as bad as people are making it out to be. I remember Trump's acceptance speech back in 2017, and one of his campaign promises was, hey, he was going to lock Hillary Clinton up. He was going to bring her before the courts, right? And that was a chant during his acceptance speech, and he said it right then and there. Listen, I said a lot of things, but we're not going to lock Hillary up. I mean, that didn't happen between 2017 and 2021. So we have to, weed through the rhetoric, understand it's politics. So I have to sell you this dream, so to speak, right? But I don't think it's as bad as people believe it to be, because it wasn't as bad when he initially became the president. It wasn't as bad.
Well, okay.
It wasn't as bad. No,
we're still going to leave with Halloween music, because I don't think it's going to be a bed of roses. But hey, Gamal Nuri, preventative measures, that people know how they can find you, how they can reach you, how they can get in contact with you.
Yeah, Preventative Measures is on LinkedIn. We are also on all of the social media platforms. You can also reach me, Gamal Nuri, at 357-9949. And if you want any assistance in weeding through criminality and reducing your risks as it relates to crime, safety in this country and anywhere around the world, you can reach out to me. Gamal Nuri, Preventative Measures, 357-9949. Thank you.
Excellent. Gamal, we'll talk again next month. It's our Safe and Sound series on Morning Blend Business of the month here on Guardian Radio on Morning Blend Business. See you next month. Hey, folks, that's it for today. Have a wonderful, safe weekend. And stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green coming up next.
Is celebrating 180 years. And we want to thank you, our loyal readers, for helping to make this one of the oldest newspapers in the region. We want you to be a part of our Vision Challenge giveaway promotion beginning October 28th through November 22nd. All you need to do is find the hidden Nassau Guardian 180 Years logo printed every day in the Nassau Guardian newspaper, and you could win prize money. Just purchase your daily Nassau Guardian newspaper every day beginning Monday, October 28th. Find the 180th Nassau Guardian logo, cut out the page, mark the spot, write your name and phone number on that clipping, drop off your entries at our offices on Carter Street in Oakesfield, and every Friday, November 1st, November 8th, November 15th, and November 22nd, one drawing will take place. It's that simple.
This holiday season, give the gift that lasts a lifetime. Financial freedom with CFAL. Whether you're looking to take the stress out of holiday giving or plan for the future, CFAL has you covered. With our suite of savings products, you can minimal upfront investments and low monthly contributions. Get a jump start with 2025 financial goals with CFAL Savings Express, or give the little ones a head start with the CFAL Education Plan. You can also secure your own future with the CFAL Blue Marlin Retirement Plan. This holiday season, make your gift count with CFAL, where small savings lead to brighter futures. Visit CFAL.com today to start building wealth so you can live well. Happy holidays from all of us at CFAL.
Have you already tried our President Butter? Ooh la la. Indulge a little with President, because now more than ever, we need to savor the taste, textures, and feelings to truly enjoy the little things that mean the most. President Butter, something to savor.
This year, Roberts Furniture and Omni Flash Cash are giving you cash in a flash. Receive up to $3,500 in financing from Omni and get cash